Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And sit back and relax because this is the week in review. It's been another long week in the world of wrestling. A lot of stuff popping off. The 5-star still in progress. AEW still exists. Impact, even more inexplicably, still exists. But we've also got exciting things happening. Joshi promotions popping up across America, including a prominent one in New York that's going to be having its very first show soon. Already sold out. So that's, pretty insane. It's got a Lucha Underground style feel. So there is a lot of exciting things going on in the world of wrestling. So get comfortable, get cozy, and let us break down the week for you. Now, I will say, I think we're gonna have a bit of a different opening here because I felt safe as hell 5 minutes ago. I'm chilling, I'm vibing. I'm like, okay, gonna get on with Ashton, gonna do weekend review. It's gonna be good. We're not watching Payback. It's self care. Everything's good. Everything's copacetic. Get a message from this guy and he's like, bro, TWitWoW and review just got so much more interesting as of a half hour ago. And he's laughing. And me, again, I had felt safe. I was in my pupa state. And then I emerged prematurely from that safety and I ask, but why? And he said, well, I could tell you now, or we could make it content. You could live react. And well, I mean, I have no self respect. So I'm like, of course, let's commodify it and make it content. So, partner, what has gone on? What is going on all of a sudden to punctuate this week in the world of wrestling?
To punctuate this week in the world of wrestling?
Does it have to do with him? Because
It
I will laugh so hard.
it does.
Oh my God. Okay, who did he get in a fight with this time?
Employment.
Wait, did they suspend him?
No,
They fired
they
him?
fired him.
Holy fucking shit. What? Oh, I'm so glad we're doing this live. Dude, what the hell? Okay, so wait, is this like Fightful? Is this like a reputable source or like where did this come from?
AEW's Twitter.
No way. No way. Okay, well now I've got to go on Twitter and I've got to see this from not that I don't
I'm
believe you.
sending
I
you
just
the
need to
link
see
on
it.
Facebook.
Okay, I need to relaunch Chrome because I only have the Facebook call like as like the browser thing. This is insane. What a week in the world of wrestling. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay, folks. It's story time with John Altman, baby.
Baby,
Okay,
yeah.
but statement from All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan. AEW has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW with cause effective immediately. You know what? Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm actually going to skip all the way through. Okay, actually, no. I'll read this part. The termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident occurring backstage at AEW, all in London on Sunday, August 27th. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee met and later convened with outside legal counsel before making a unanimous recommendation to Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. Dude, we have so much to talk about. We need to marinate on this, but I'm just going to finish this. I just want to read Khan's statement because this is interesting.
Yeah.
Quote, Phil played an important role within AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contracts with cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I am making the decision in the best interest of the many amazing people who make AEW possible every week, our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung, but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television and at arenas and stadiums throughout the world. Okay, bro, so first of all, let me breathe.
Yeah.
That's good oxygen.
I guess, I mean, a week ago he was all in, but now I guess he really is all out.
Okay, first of all, I'm extending your line of credit another 4 weeks, so that was just amazing. I don't know how you just gave your mouth to mouth to buy yourself more time for your bullshit. That was, you know what? It's been good for you because the muscle's actually getting stronger. That was impeccable. Second of all, a serious question for you. Because, I think you always look at things different. I would say in a lot of cases in a better way than I do. What happens to Collision now?
Dude,
Because that's like
I,
Punk's
I would
project.
imagine, first of all, that in order for that show to exist, contracts had to be signed that lasted more than a few months. So,
Of course.
the real question is going to actually come up when whatever the term length of the contract for that show to exist comes up. Because at that point, it'll be up to, I guess, the network as to whether the show continues to exist or not. And really, I mean, let's be real. Punk wasn't exactly keeping it afloat. It was doing worse than NXT viewership wise, and now college football is a thing. So they're not going to do well at all without him.
Yeah, bro, I gotta say, this is an opportunity for AEW because first of all, and I've been ragging on him hard. I've been joking with you that you and we've been doing this over 12 years now. We're in our grizzled era. We're far more selective about the wrestling we like and stuff like that. Which again, there are good things coming out of the pipeline, which I think we could talk about that. This could be a more, I don't want to say free form, but just a more, relaxed conversational week in review. But this is the first time AEW has really felt to me like a mature wrestling company because Khan really disappointed me the first time after the media scrum where he capitulated and he was like, okay, we'll bring it back because he is a genuine draw and Punk, drew the gate and there's no denying that. But what I think Tony failed to consider, and I say this with all sincerity, is how incidents like that can depreciate one's value.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I was even seeing I think it was on One Collision or maybe it was at All In, where there were like signs. In fact, I think it was like a collision because it was in Chicago, signs making fun of Punk. So even part of Chicago, which is like his sacred ground, turned on him. And this is what you and I meant, and a lot of other people meant when, you say like toxic asset. Well, what happens with that? It's like, well, more and more people see you for what you are or how you're acting, and they're not really going to care what you bring to the table because long term, everything's going to depreciate around you. And I think that's what really happened here. I will say in the first episode, I know you said that you liked how, the way it was kind of structured, the kind of matches they had. Like, I forget who Andrade faced in that match. It was
In
Buddy
the first
Matthews.
show, it was Buddy Matthews. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Buddy Matthews. So I still hope that even without Punk, AEW strives to give Collision its own distinctive feel and its own distinctive kind of aesthetic and just presentation. I just hope it doesn't get subsumed under the logic of Dynamite or any of the other shows just because Punk is no longer there. And really, I just think Punk now is just out of the wrestling business. WWE won't take him back.
You really don't think so?
Well, because what didn't that story come out a few months ago that he was like backstage at a Raw and they had him escorted out or whatever? Like, I don't know if they'd really want to do, especially after bad press like this. I
Yeah.
can't imagine WWE, which is doing record gate in their own right because of the bloodline
That's
and because
true.
of everybody
Dude,
really.
how?
Yeah.
Oh my God. He was using his power to keep his quote unquote enemies out of his quote unquote locker room at Collision, and now how legendary would it be if the true locker room leader in WWE, Roman Reigns, was like, nah, not in my locker room.
Yeah. Yeah. Who really should get rewarded in all this just based on what I read should be Samoa Joe, if anybody,
Yes,
because from what
yes.
I read, he was a real leader in this whole thing. And he was like, come on, guys, we're a locker room. Let's keep it together. See, that's the thing. Punk likes to peacock like he's a leader and he's
Yep.
respecting the legends and this and that. To me, Joe, who has been quiet through this whole thing, is more of a locker room leader than Punk ever was.
I agree.
Like we will put respect on Samoa Joe's name in this fucking house.
Absolutely.
And I know he is older and he's always had a problem, being healthy and stuff. But if you wanted to put a Collision championship on him and make Collision the Samoa Joe show, dude,
Yeah.
Samoa Joe is the one guy, unlike a Triple H, a Cena, a Punk, whatever. You give him a mic for 15 minutes every week, I'm
Yeah.
listening every
Well,
time.
and
That
dude,
dude
here's
is
the thing too.
yeah.
He's also had exposure in WWE, not as much as CM Punk, but still a good amount. He's got that rub already. He's been there, done that, and he has had more Hollywood level exposure than CM Punk has ever had because of fucking what was the show we just watched?
Twisted Metal,
yeah,
right?
Twisted Metal. I wanted to say Metal Gear Solid. I knew that wasn't it. Yeah, Twisted
Yeah.
Metal. Yeah, because he was fucking Sweet Tooth's body actor in Twisted Metal. Samoa Joe is already and he's doing like a lot of voice work for the
Wasn't he
King
voice
Shark.
work for Suicide?
King
Yeah,
Shark,
yeah. I was
yeah.
gonna say Suicide Squad. Yeah,
Exactly. So like Samoa Joe is I think if you're able to build Collision around anyone now that Punk is gone, I think he's definitely the absolute best candidate to do it. And here's the thing, he's not a petty bitch. So if Kenny or the Bucks or Jungle Boy or fucking Dolph Ziggler's little brother or Matt Hardy decide that they want to show up on Collision from this point on, I don't think he would have too much of a problem with it, to be honest with you.
Bro, it's so funny that they kind of had like a working relationship in TNA for like a few years because Joe really does have the closest energy I've seen to like a modern Kevin Nash in the sense that he just gets
Yeah.
it. It's like, look, this is a business. I'm not about to, and I don't know if I don't think he politics nearly as much as Nash did, but it's just the idea of like, look, this is a business. I'm here to make money. I'm not here to do petty, high school drama. I'm not here to make
Bullshit.
a locker room a battlefield.
Yep.
I'm here to do my job, and I'm here to make this business look good, and I'm here to make myself look good,
Yep.
and make the people that I work with look good because that makes me look better long term. He gets it. He's grounded. He's mature. Like, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, he doesn't have this ego, and he's not petty. He wouldn't let it take away from the product. Yeah, I say give Joe Collision. Honestly, I think he's more than earned it. I think he could be very compelling and very interesting, especially given it makes sense too, even from a kayfabe perspective, in a sense, because before Punk got fired, he was in a feud with Joe, so they could just make it seem like he was so scared of me, he wanted to choke out Jack Perry just so he could avoid fighting me or something like that. Because AEW loves their work shoot bullshit, so you could just really make it seem like, oh yeah, Punk wanted to avoid me at all costs and make Collision Joe's castle. I'd love that. I'd really be curious what kind of numbers they'd do and stuff because Joe's a hell of a talker and everything else. So let's see. Um, and my prognosis on Punk. I just think he's done with the wrestling business altogether. Do you have a different prognosis when you
Yeah,
think about it?
it's one of those things where I could envision a world where, in order, for Triple H to go out there and prove that, like Vince McMahon, he's willing to set personal beef aside for the sake of money and business, he could bring back Punk as like a token. Hey, you guys all think I have beef with this guy, but we're actually willing to set that aside for business, kind of thing.
You know what? And dude, here's the funny fucking thing because you kind of gestured at this earlier when you were thinking about like Punk, when I was saying like Punk may not go back to WWE or whatever,
Yeah.
that Punk would be reined in and he would kind of temper himself because Roman Reigns would not tolerate that shit because he
No.
would probably see Punk and think, we've done this gate without you, we're moving this money without you, we just lost Bray recently, and we came together for that. This isn't about you. Either be a part of the team or get the fuck out. I
Yeah.
think Roman would be actually. I don't want to conjecture too hard, but honestly, I'm kind of drunk on the spiritedness of this episode. I could just picture Roman pulling Punk aside and talking to him for like 10, 15 minutes, being like, hey, man, I'm cool with you. We'll do business, whatever. But we're a team. We're both veterans. Let's lead this locker room together. Don't do your bullshit. So it could be interesting. But yeah, I just think he's done. I just think he's done. Because even from Punk's standpoint, he's just got to be so fed up and so disgusted, and his ego's got to be a bit bruised, that he's like, you know what, fuck pro wrestling. I'm gonna go back to writing comics or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, crazy man, and especially given that Collision is tonight, right? They're doing an episode tonight at 8. I know the Acclaimed are defending against, who are they defending against? It's not House of Black. They're not getting their rematch. It's I forget who they're defending against, but yeah,
I
I mean we got a
genuinely
trios.
have no clue.
Yeah, I mean it's a trios championship match because I know I saw it because I was watching Rampage and Dynamite clips, but just the names aren't coming to me. But yeah, first Collision without Punk. I would open with Joe and just have him kind of gesture about it. But we'll
Absolutely, because from what I
yeah.
understand, I don't know about this show itself, like tonight, the Collision episode, but All Out tomorrow's in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. God damn.
that, that even popped my mom. Did you hear her laughing?
I did. Dude, I should have known because when you alluded to this when we were talking on Facebook, I'm like, what the hell is he laughing about? Like, what's so fun? And like, I didn't even have the inclination to look because again, you would ask me, do you want me to tell you or do you want to go live? And I'm like, well, I wouldn't have to wait that much longer. No point in going on Twitter. But like, I do kind of sort of want to see the Twitter discourse right now because it's got to be, yep, I'm seeing CM Punk in my trends hard. Oh my god. Oh my god. Some the Public Enemies podcast posted the elite group chat finding out CM Punk was fired from AEW, and it's a bunch of it's Big E, Xavier, and Seth all celebrating on Family Feud and like just jumping up and down and everything. It's great. Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of think pieces about this. We're gonna see a lot of opinions about this. Of course, who cares about that? Because I mean, we're talking about it. But yeah, I'm very interested in the restructuring of Collision. But let me ask you, man, just in a more just in a broader sense, what are you most intrigued about in the fallout of all this? Like, what are you going to be observing to see what AEW does or what Khan does or
Low
whatever?
key, I am the most interested in if AEW manages to turn Collision's ratings around, how they do it, and who the driving force is behind it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's excellently put.
Because
Um,
Collision's ratings have been in the dirt for a
yeah, they
while now,
have.
like basically since SummerSlam, for the last month, pretty much. Because SummerSlam was the first time that they dipped below 500K, and they've barely recovered since then. Because it was like the last four episodes of Collision in a row, they've gone up slightly every week, but they still are at like 550. Like it's really really bad. And that's with Punk. That's with Punk being like the driving force of the show. So I am just so incredibly curious. I'm assuming they're going to build around some combination of Samoa Joe, FTR, and Ricky Starks because those have been kind of the stars of Collision so far. I really hope that Andrade is able to return soon and gets pushed. And I really hope that House of Black does stuff because they literally just lost the trios titles to. I mean, have you seen the new trios titles, John?
I have because again, dude, I actually was good this week and I did my homework and I watched Dynamite clips and Rampage
Yeah,
clips.
yeah.
So,
This is all stuff that we have to talk about on this show because All In happened on the like last Sunday, which is within the confines of this week for us to talk about. And then we also have Dynamite to talk about, which is where they unveiled the new trios titles. Oh, there's so much.
bro,
There's so much.
bro, I'm telling you, if I'm Jack Perry, I'm waking up having bummed Roderick Strong's neck brace for myself. I'm seeing the news and I'm like, should have let me have my glass, and I'm just kind of walking. all this, all this for fucking a guy wanting to do a real glass spot. Jesus Christ, wrestling really is some carny bullshit. Like more than ever, AEW has reminded me how carny wrestling truly is at the core. Um, I guess with that, do you want to talk about All In since you kind of mentioned it? Do we want to kind of, kind of go back there? Because I'll tell you, I didn't watch the show. I only watched the main event. But
Yeah.
obviously a lot happened.
Yeah, man. I'm
Dude,
I'm totally cool with talking about that if you wanted to open with that.
actually, not only can we talk about it, do you mind if I because sometimes I want to be chronological, but there's actually something that's been sticking out to me that I just want your thoughts on, and I kind of want us to just
Okay.
discuss, right?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about all this discourse of people wanting Soraya and Mercedes to feud for the AEW Women's Championship?
I'm
Because it's a
not
very divisive topic
surprised
for me.
by it at all. They kind of were like ships passing each other in the night in WWE because by the time Mercedes got called up, Soraya was really in like the bullshit, like with Del Rio and the abuse and the suspensions and all that garbage and the injury. And of course, we also know that there was a whole thing with Mercedes alleged, the kick that injured or re-injured Soraya in the situation that like all the abuse that she got from people online and stuff like that. So like they've barely ever interacted at all.
Yeah.
I know that there was like the whole Team Bad versus Team PCB thing that was a thing, but like even then that was 3-on-3. I don't think have Mercedes have did Sasha and Paige when they were in WWE ever have a singles feud?
Sasha and Paige over a single feud. Not that I remember, no.
Not that I remember either. I know that they were part of a trios feud, but I don't think they ever had anything singles. So people just kind of feel like maybe they missed out on that or they were robbed of that and they won it and now they feel like they have an opportunity to get it, so they're going to be clamoring for it. That makes sense.
I agree with everything you're saying. Let me just start off by that because I always like to start by like an acknowledgement of what you've said and
Yeah.
just what I thought about that very quickly. Beyond that, this is actually one case because look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. The Mercedes fan base is sometimes a little rabid for me, and I need to get out and I need to breathe. That's the nicest way that I could put it. They really are a very intense group. Um, I actually am sympathetic with them in this case though, because a lot of them have brought up Mercedes got a lot of bullying because a lot of people blamed her for Saraya having to retire
Yeah.
and the problems with her neck. And we already know from that one, like, those documentary things that WWE has done in the past. They did one on Mercedes, at the time, Sasha, and she talked about like how bad her mental health was in the wake of that. And people brought up that like they never remember Saraya speaking up in her defense. And also, on a more personal level, and I know we try and keep it to like the kayfabe in the wrestling, but I just can't get over what we've read about Tony and Saraya in the AEW locker room. And I'm like, I've got my problems with Mercedes too as a person. I don't like that she's, propped up Autism Speaks, for example. But I really don't want Mercedes interacting with her. So I'm good, actually. I'm good if we don't do this, but will they do it? Which I think is the more pertinent question for this podcast. I think so. I think you don't do the camera shot to Mercedes in the crowd when Saraya won the title without being like, hey guys, hey, we're doing it. You see it? You see the hint? We're doing it. It's like it's happening, and all I can
Yeah, they
hope is
showed
is that.
Mercedes a lot at All In.
Yeah, that's one problem I've always had. Like on a minor level, I would call it a nitpick. I don't want to like rant about it, but sometimes AEW's camera work is like little excessive.
Dude,
It's like when MJF had that poker chip and they would keep cutting up to him in segments. It's like even when
dude,
Hangman and Mox were having that really good promo, it's like
yeah.
let me focus on the guys promoing. Like I know MJF is there. In fact, if you don't show him, that makes it more ominous because I know he's watching, right?
Dude, it's wild that AEW's camera work is still as bad as it is, and like their production in general is still as bad as it is. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of, maybe it's not. I shouldn't even say production. I almost feel like I should more say direction. It's less about the production quality because the quality of the production is great. It feels like a premier, like a premium product, but like the direction and like what the cameras catch and what the cameras pay attention to is still such a problem for them sometimes. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Oh, well, I saw you in Gala in our Discord, which Discord for anybody listening, on demand. That's $3 a month. If you're interested, you can check it out on the Patreon below. I saw you guys discussing in wrestling discussion how like the photo quality, like Gala was even like, what is this? Like you guys are like this
Yeah.
big company. Why do the photos look like this?
There
Like, yeah,
are
dude,
like literally any phone that's come out in the last like 7 years or 8 years takes better pictures than that. It's unbelievable.
it's insane that like
You
it's
can probably
very
go back
clear that
further than that, honestly.
it's very clear that AEW is a big production, but it's amazing to me that in the small ways, like you talked about the directing just a few moments ago. Now we're talking about the picture quality. It's just in the small ways, WWE really has them beat, but it's those small ways that when you add them up, really lends so much to the overall presentation of the product. And that's why I think WWE is still kind of ahead of them in that regard. But yeah, just circling back to Saraya Mercedes, is it going to happen? Probably. Will it be a good match? Hopefully. Do I care to see it? Not at all. You could honestly miss me with it, and I wouldn't even be offended. I still would far prefer Mercedes to do another like Stardom deal
Yeah.
and to get that Julia match and to get that Utami match for me selfishly because I want that really bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to conference with you about that. Let's talk about the trios title, shall we? Because I'm looking at this as the glass half full. Hopefully, again, I'm kind of doing the same thing with WWE or with AEW that I've done with WWE. I really want Malachi to go back to being a singles guy after this, man. I want him to get like some kind of a main event rub. I still think he's got it in him to do it. And I'm hoping now that he's no longer a trios champion, with Buddy and what's his
Brody
name?
King.
Brody King, yeah. Yeah. Um I hope he goes on like a big singles run. Buddy too, honestly. I'd like to still see him in the international championship picture, even though that's got its own stuff going on, which we'll get to. So how do you feel about the acclaimed, finally ending House of Black's reign? What happens with House of Black now? Just what are your overall thoughts, friend?
I, you know, this is a great example of what Ian Malcolm was saying in the first Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
They were so fixated on whether they could get a damn near 60-year-old Billy Gunn to be in a place where the fans actually clamored for him to win a title and then put one on him and have the fans pop for it, that they never really took a minute to think about whether they fucking should do that. And then they did
Yeah.
it anyway. And guys, here's the worst thing to me. Were you aware, John, that Billy Gunn kicked out of a Black Mass?
No fucking way.
Hmm. The
Oh
first
my.
one in AEW to ever kick out of that move is Billy fucking Gunn.
This company doesn't understand anything, does it? Jesus Christ. See, this is why I didn't watch the. This is why. Oh wow! Just to give a live update here, because I actually forwarded the AEW tweet that you sent to me, Ashton, to Angel, and his immediate reaction was, "Wow, WWE, here he comes." Because somebody actually reminded me, and I don't know if you mentioned this, and I apologize if you did, and I just didn't hear it in all the excitement. But Survivor Series is in Chicago, so people are already speculating that he might show up at Survivor Series. But yeah, Angel thinks Punk's going to go to AEW. But anyway, yeah, like that's disgusting to me. And when you tell me stuff like that, it makes me so happy that I didn't watch All In. Like except for the main event again, which I did watch. That's gross. But anyway, continue. So now clearly you feel like they should have stayed with House of Black because they were just the more entertaining gimmick and
Well,
just the
it's
more
it's
interesting
one of those
pedaling.
things where if you follow the AEW stories, it was very, very clear months ago that the Acclaimed fully intended to do everything in their power to get the trios titles so that they could have them with Billy Gunn, so that they could get Billy Gunn one last run with the titles. I just think that if they had to do this storyline, I think it should have waited like another 4 or 5 months to start so that House of Black could have had a really good, long, dominant run with those titles. As of right now, it feels like House of Black can't hold on to those titles for nearly as long as they should be able to.
Kind of,
I think
yeah.
haven't House of Black haven't they had two different runs with the trios titles now, and neither one of them has been really all that spectacular, even though there's always like a single match in both of their runs that's incredible. It blows people's minds.
Yeah, I can't comment on that authoritatively as far as like, how many reigns and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, just to have it end this way because I even saw their entrance. Buddy Matthews paying tribute to Bray,
Oh,
with the lantern and everything.
yeah.
It's a cool fucking group, man. Like even
I
Julia
do want to
Hart.
correct
Yeah,
myself, by the way. They haven't had
yes.
multiple reigns, but I do remember the big match that I'm thinking of was they had a trios match at one point against Death Triangle that was kind of like in the like few months leading up to the tournament to crown the inaugural trios champions that we were like, oh my god, this match is. It was a match of the year candidate for me. And then they ended up literally losing in the first fucking round of the tournament, and as did Death Triangle. They both of the teams that had that incredible match lost in the first round of the tournament to crown the inaugural champions. And like, I just the decision making in this company is just absolute bottom of the barrel, scraping the bottom of the barrel, basement quality.
AE derp. AE derp. Fucking what the fuck? Um, let's see. I mean, we had Punk versus Joe on this show, potentially Punk's last professional
Yeah, and
match, and we
Punk
don't fucking know.
won.
Yeah, Punk won because again, Joe isn't like, "Oh, that's not gonna work for me, brother." He's like, "Oh, all right, I got paid. I'm doing good shit." Um, what else happened? Oh yeah, the Stadium Stampede. Did anybody actually? Okay, well, obviously somebody in our chat watched this. Ashton, just clarify for me before we go any deeper into this. What was your engagement with All In? Did you actually watch the
Uh,
show? Did you only watch one match?
I barely paid attention to it, and here's the thing: I only woke up at the very end of the women's match, and that was the seventh or the fifth match on the main card.
Okay,
Because this
okay,
show started at 1 p.m. my time, our time.
right,
So
right.
I slept till the women's match had just about ended, and I saw the finish of the women's match. I saw that Soraya won the title and she was celebrating and stuff like that. So because of that, I did not see Stadium Stampede.
Okay, I didn't either. So really, I guess I can't comment on it. I did see Orange Cassidy get the winning pin. Again, the big push of Orange Cassidy continues. He actually had an interesting week because he gets the winning pin here for Stadium Stampede. And then I know he retained the title against Penta, which was a hot button of conversation this week, just given the nature of that match. And he's going to be facing Moxley at All Out.
Tomorrow.
Because yeah, exactly tomorrow. because he won a kind of like number one contenders match. So Cassidy versus Moxley, probably the biggest match that Cassidy's had in a minute. 'Cause I know Stadium Stampede was pretty big, but I'm talking like on a singles perspective. Because the last time I saw Orange Cassidy match as big, he was feuding with Chris Jericho. So, and I honestly feel like Moxley's even bigger. So this might just be the biggest match in Cassidy's career. So if you're an Orange Cassidy fan, interesting stuff going on there. What else? I mean, we already discussed the women's match, and it was the only women's match on the show, which is kind of the problem. Uh FTR versus the Bucks. I didn't see this either, but I heard that they replicated the finish from SummerSlam '92 with like the roll up or whatever, with like Bulldog catching Hitman or whatever the fuck, because we know
Wow.
FTR are Hitman fanboy. I don't know if anybody can corroborate that. I'm just saying that's what I heard. But yeah, FTR retained, and I don't know who they're going to feud with now because it seems like AEW is going to want to put more shine on MJF and Adam Cole because at 0 Hour they beat Aussie Open to win the ROH tag titles. And it seems like they really want to play with that reign and really get that reign over. We
Yeah.
already know Alex Reynolds and John Silver won a battle royal on Rampage to get the title shot at All Out tomorrow. So it's going to be the Dark Order versus MJF and Adam Cole. Um, so let's see. Super Blue correcting saying it wasn't a roll up finish. All right. Well, I had read that they did some kind of spot paying homage to SummerSlam '92, and which took place in the UK. And again, it was Bulldog and Bret Hart. But yeah, maybe that was just in the middle
I
of the
think that
match or
the end
something.
of that match was just like a shatter machine.
Well, that's appropriate then. At
Which
least
I
we have
think they
one. Yeah.
actually, I think Excalibur even called it a shatter machine, which kind of blew my mind because I thought they called it the big rig in AEW.
Yeah, I thought they did too. So, but hey, at least it's a match that didn't end in a roll up. So I can appreciate that at least. Um, And yeah, so MJF, Adam Cole, ROH Tag Champions beat Aussie Open, and then in the main event, I'm sure there's like a lot of stuff I'm missing. Oh yeah, well, Chris Jericho versus Osprey. That's right. Osprey wins after two Stormbreakers because Jericho apparently kicked out of one. I don't like Osprey, but I did enjoy how protected that move was, and now it seems like it's being diluted a bit. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. So
Yeah.
that's especially fucking Chris Jericho at the stage of his career kicking out of one. It's like, come on, man. But pivotal moment in the match there. Jericho had Will in the walls at one point, and Sammy
Oh,
comes out and he tries to help Chris win by hitting Will in the face with a baseball bat,
yeah.
and trying to knock Will out. I mean, obviously that failed. That would bleed over into Dynamite with Guevara and Jericho having a little thing. Man, this is what I mean about us being in our grizzled era because I'm having a tougher time as I get older taking my personal feelings out of the kayfabe presentation, right? Because I'm looking at this and I'm looking at them trying to make Sammy a pure babyface, which to their credit, incredulously, seems to be working low key. And I'm like, nah, fuck Sammy Guevara. Like, I can't, because I know how childish he is. I know the fucking bullshit that he's done. And, people openly calling him out on it on fucking Twitter that are also representing the company. And I'm like, that guy's your babyface? Really? But him and Jericho on Dynamite, they have this little bit of back and forth where they're kind of, passively aggressively provoking each other, negging each other on. Like, oh, well, if you would have done this, maybe this would happen. Well, if you would have done this. And Sammy actually brings up how Jericho lost the AEW World title in a steakhouse, which I'm surprised that didn't get a bigger pop because even I kind of arched an eyebrow. Like, I actually forgot that happened. And for Sammy to throw that in his face, like, okay, I'll give him points for that begrudgingly. But then they bury the hatchet, and now they're going to go after the AEW tag titles. So they're going to try and feud with FTR, which, okay. I'm fully expecting Jericho to turn on Sammy. And really, here's the thing. Why is Sammy still sticking around? Like, that's the thing. It's one thing to care about somebody and respect somebody, but that rope gets used up after a while, right? Like, I need deeper motivations here. Clearly, Jericho still feels some kind of way about you, Sammy, that you're not pulling your weight. Why are you sitting here and taking this? But he's like, oh, no, man, the sex gods. Let's go after the titles. And Sammy's like, okay, cool. And they hug it out. And I'm like, you're stupid. Like, I can't respect a baby face that just sees the red flag right in front of them and is like, okay, let's do the thing anyway. He's totally gonna eat a Judas effect, and I'm gonna laugh. Um, So yeah, Osprey beats Jericho. Jericho now wanting to pursue tag titles with Sammy. Are you like me and you just don't give a fucking shit about any of this, or actually do you have an opinion you'd like to give on all this? Just to check in.
Or about the Sammy Jericho stuff?
The Sammy Jericho stuff, yeah. Anything?
It really annoyed me, honestly. AEW is starting to get cutesy and do this thing where they're building up towards something happening and then nothing happens on purpose as like a swerve. Like, oh, the swerve is there was no swerve. Ha 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 ha.
Expected you to say "fuck you" after that laugh because it seems like you were gearing up for it. But no, I agree. It's tedious. I mean, that's what it is to me. It's tedious. Like this would have been a perfect segment for them to hug, and then Jericho to just out of nowhere hit a Judas effect, or maybe even Sammy to just be like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this. I don't know if he would have given up like the baby face momentum with the crowd that he again has incredulously been building. It wasn't that long ago, seemingly, that they were saying, fuck Sammy Guevara, or we still don't like you after he would do an impressive move. But apparently, again, collective memory is very short these days. Um, so yeah, that was a thing. Trying to think what other matches because I want to talk about MJF Cole, but I want to do justice to the card if there's anything big that I'm forgetting. But I really can't think of anything. So I guess we'll just move on to that. You know that I watched the match, and I know you said you didn't really pay much attention, and you woke up right at the finish of the women's match, which you said was the fifth match on this card. Um, but I know you were a part of the discussion on Discord when we were kind of discussing it. Good match. I think the grade I gave. Oh, sorry, DBK. Wow, he got really angry that I would just look over Jay White like that. Who did Jay White even face on this goddamn show?
It was the 4-on-4 Bullet Club Gold with Konosuke Takeshita versus Kenny, Hangman, and Ibushi.
Oh, you mean the match where they paid probably one of the biggest stars in the match just to lose? Oh, come on out, Ibushi. It'll be great.
I mean, to be fair,
And
it's
then,
not like he ate the pin. That was Kenny.
well, good. It'll humble you, Kenneth. You need this.
He got
I
rolled
actually,
up by Takeshita.
and now they're having the yeah, Foster, I agree with you. I hate that I agree with you because Jay White's so fucking good, but AEW hasn't really made him to me feel like the star that he should be.
Do we think that
So
he
yeah,
gets
Foster.
pushed a little bit harder now with Punk gone and being like one of the focal points of Collision, maybe?
I hope. I haven't heard this dude starting any backstage knife. He's perving his knives in peace. He's not causing any problems. But I'm actually looking forward to hearing about how Omega Takeshita turns out at All Out because they're finally doing the singles match, and I'm happy for Takeshita. I really like Takeshita, but I don't know what you want me to say, DBK. I mean, look, you and I have been getting along more lately. I've given you your credit as being beautiful for my child, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop being me. And yeah, I forgot Jay White exists. Maybe AEW should suck less. I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, Kenneth eats the pin. Did anybody care? Anybody have anything to say? I mean, mainly when I say
Dude,
anybody,
I
I'm talking about.
actually, you know what? I'm glad that we're talking about this because it reminds me that I actually downloaded and then went back and I went back and watched the matches early in the show that I missed, or at least the ones that I was interested in. And this was the big one that I watched an actual majority of, and it was a
Yeah,
really solid match. But man, the finish again, the fucking roll up. Tony wants to be Ring of Honor so bad that he literally A bought the company and is running it now, and B is having all of the matches inspired by it.
dude, it's so fucking bad. Because I mean, honestly, I would like to springboard from that to the main event
Dude, I will never
because
forget how
yeah,
like you used to always tell me like, "Oh, like I remember the first time that we ever really had any kind of substantial conversation about Ring of Honor, you just told me that you hated it because you hated that, the story that you hold about or you heard about the Generico Steen match where Generico hit a top rope turnbuckle or a top turnbuckle brainbuster on Steen and he kicked out and then he won with a roll up. Like, yeah, that was like the whole thing that you always complained about. And AEW just like, oh, oh. You mean we can have our wrestlers kick out of finishers and it doesn't deplete their credibility if they lose to roll ups later in the match? Oh, this is this is the greatest innovation that we've ever heard of in pro wrestling in our lives. We need to take advantage of this every single time we want to protect anyone ever.
I'm just gonna say this because I'm a wildly inappropriate and broken individual. When you were going through that whole thing, I just imagined Tony Khan undoing his nipple flaps and just going to town. Like he was having the best time thinking about the repercussions of all this.
Oh,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
sorry. Oh, I guess we're the only alternative in town. Gosh, jeez.
Oh God, I hate everything. So we do Punk MJF, or excuse me, we do. Well, we already did Punk MJF. We did Cole
Oh
MJF.
no.
Sorry, I still got that news on the brain because there's a lot of fallout I need to read when we get done here, and we're not going to be done here for like probably another hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So yeah, we do Cole MJF, and yeah, I like the match. I think if I remember correctly, the score I gave it on Discord was 8 out of 10. I thought they did a lot of good stuff. I like the
Ugh.
surprise of Cole being the more committed heel than MJF. I like that MJF really had seemingly genuine crises of conscience that each time he would win out. Because I'm like, man, AEW, if you really commit to this, that's giving him dimension. You've given him a whole other dimension. He's now a two-dimensional character instead of a one-dimensional character. And Cole, maybe from a place of deep insecurity because he went through the terror of his fucking life, not knowing what the hell was going on with his own body and thinking, am I ever going to wrestle again? Is like, okay, Adam, everything was for this. You need to win. You need to win. And he was kind of being the old Adam Cole, which I mean, I mean, look, I already kind of mentioned the nipple flaps, so we're in it now. That did something for me. I mean, seeing Cole be a douche, I'm like, yeah, yeah, that was nice. That was really nice. So I think I even said Cole's being a major douche daddy. Dot dot dot. I love it. Um, so yeah, he was being really mean, definitely an insensitive feelings hurter when he took off the better than you Bay t-shirt of MJF and threw it in his face. There's a lot of good emotional and character beats here. I will give a match credit no matter where it takes place for the things it does well. But again, we have the classic AEW problem. These guys are dropping bombs on each other, especially Cole to MJF. Okay, especially him because he is in the more bully role on MJF's neck. I think I even saw like a fucking Panama sunrise type maneuver to the outside and he doesn't win. And it's like, what are we doing? Because to me, say what you will about WWE, and we have said a lot over the years and could still have more to say even now. I feel like if you would have had an Adam Cole MJF type matchup where it's like, okay, this guy's going to sacrifice friendship in the match because he's decided the title's more important, there would be a real undercurrent of malice to it. And I feel like moves like that would not only be sold more, but you probably would even do the stretcher spot, which I know usually gets an eye roll out of us, but honestly would be more believable than just near fall on AEW side. And it would end with like, Cole just being like, yeah, that friendship meant nothing to me, whatever. Now, AEW didn't want to tell that exact story, and that's fine. But maybe don't have them go so fucking crazy then, and especially don't have Cole go so crazy as a heel, looking like he's genuinely trying to maim this dude. They do the back and forth. At first it's a draw because they double clothesline each other and they pin each other, which I got to tell you, bro, the streamer I was watching this on, everybody was laughing their ass off. And everybody was posting like, what a lame finish, shit finish, etc., etc.
And then we
Then they
got high
restart.
school drama theater.
Yeah, exactly. Then the match got restarted. Totally, like, see, I hate convolution for convolution's sake. I can actually deal with something being a bit convoluted if the end justifies the means, right? There is no reason to me why you couldn't have just done a double kick out. Why? Why did it have to be a three? Then like what it to me, it's a lot like watching a movie on Tubi and you get an ad in the middle part when something really dire is going to, maybe somebody's gotten shot and then you're getting advertised a fucking car commercial. It breaks up the flow. right? These guys had a really good flow in spite of the problems with, like, the dropping bombs and everything, which, you kind of build up a tolerance if you watch AEW long enough, and you break up the flow for no reason because now it's like, oh, the match restarting. But then they keep going at it, and then it's like, okay, they're getting back in the groove a little bit. Then we get a ref bump. Then I did like how they did this, to AEW's credit. You have Roderick come in, which, by the way, just a quick aside, I know I was kind of dogging on Roderick's promos recently and only saying I really enjoyed his PWG promos, but I can't remember what else. I think this whiny character that he's got in AEW is starting to grow on me because I heard his promo on Dynamite and I'm like, you know
Yes.
what? It's working for me, Roddy. You found something here. You found actual heat. He low blows MJF, but the way Cole is positioned, he doesn't see it. But see, Cole's an intelligent guy. So when he comes to and he sees MJF down and he sees Roderick at ringside, he's been in the business long enough you could put two and two together. But he still takes advantage of it. And I like that. So once again, try and take that advantage. MJF kicks out. Cole, and again, this is one thing Cole always excels at. I love his facials. I love his exasperation late in a match, especially when he is playing the more bully role. It kind of became a joke here on the podcast where he's just like, Adam Cole, Adam Cole, and he's like questioning his existence. He definitely did a lot of that here. And then the big thing is, Roddy slides in the title, tells Cole, use it. And you see Cole's even trying to psych himself up. You can hear him saying to himself, this is my title. It's mine. It's mine. And like he wants to hit him. He wants to be that Adam Cole. But he's looking at MJF and he can't help but think about all the time that Better Than You Baby has spent together and everything that they've done. And he throws the title back at Roddy. And I was honestly shocked by that because I thought once after the last shot, with the knee exposed, I'm like, okay, well, Cole, he's at that point now, in for a penny, in for a pound. Like he's just committed to it now, right? But he still makes the choice. But that choice costs him because he goes to pick up Max, try and beat him with a genuine wrestling hold. Max gets him in the inside cradle for the 3 count. In a way, I don't like this, but the only reason I'm more forgiving of this than other times is because it does feed pretty nicely into the narrative. Like, the one time that Cole heeds his conscience, it costs him. And then they kind of replay the whole spot from Collision a few weeks back when they lost to FTR. And it was Adam Cole in the position of that MJF is in now, encouraging Max, and Max is kind of shoving him away and just being like, okay, Max, you want to do this? Just hit me with the title. Because MJF tells Cole, and this is another interesting beat. MJF, who believes he's the best thing on God's green earth, who thinks, Ric Flair in his prime would be lucky to watch an MJF match kind of deal, tells Adam Cole, I got lucky. I got lucky. Don't be down on yourself. It was a great man, this and that.
That's just
Cole, I
bad
think,
writing to me. Like, that's so out of character for MJF.
see, and like, I agree with you to a point, but I take it to mean like maybe he really does value this friendship with Cole and he doesn't want to lose it. Now, I will say, if this is some long con fucking bullshit and he does still end up turning heel because he had a change of heart, or maybe because Roddy talked to him and it's like, oh, they were trying to save me, Cole, from what you already did to these 3 guys. Then I am going to be pissed because I'm going to be like, oh my God, we just took the scenic route to the same place we already were. But here I was a bit more forgiving. Cole's looking at the title, Roddy screaming at him, do it. And Cole doesn't do it again. He tells Roddy to go away and they hug to a huge pop. People like this friendship. People like this tag team. And yeah, that's how All In concludes. I liked their media scrum, when it got to it like 50 minutes later, because AEW was just on fire at the time, with the Punk stuff. And yeah, MJF is still the world champion. I know they're going to do a tournament to determine the next contender. I do wonder if Roddy's going to win it, because that would be interesting. In fact, I already am kind of thinking in my mind that he's going to be the winner, but we'll have to see. Super Blue even said if MJF goes heel in this feud, I'm done with AEW. I still don't know, Super Blue, because I think in one way they want to really do the MJF face experiment to see how he can draw as a baby face. And especially now with CM Punk going, like, I do wonder how that's going to affect other things just throughout the company. But they could double down and be like, no, you're all stupid. You all bought it. You all really thought that I could care about someone. Fuck you. And so, yeah, we'll have to see. Do you have any remarks that you want to make about this main event or just this overall storyline since we did kind of touch on it on Dynamite as well with the whole Adam and Roddy, well, just Adam and Kingdom promo, really?
Yeah, it's interesting that Super Blue says that because while I think you and I are on the same page, as far as I think we both think that Adam is going to be the one that turns on MJF and betrays him, I also think that there is a very real chance that after that happens, MJF regresses hard back into his super heel devil character as
Right.
as a trauma response to being betrayed by the one dude that he thought he could trust.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So like,
Yeah.
oh, did he go heel? During it, maybe you could argue that he didn't turn heel until after it was over. Maybe I don't know. It's I don't know. It's like I think that's kind of where my sensors are pointing towards is that Adam is going to turn on MJF and that is going to cause MJF to completely regress and if not become worse than he's ever been again as a trauma response to being betrayed by the one guy that he thought he could trust.
Yes. Yeah, I think you and I totally on the same page there. Um, so I guess that covers all in. Then with Dynamite this week, I already kind of touched on the Kingdom promo. I'm really liking Roddy's whiny character, like how he intros himself, Adam, Adam, like it's like God damn. Um, and talking that we're gonna, I'm gonna enter the tournament and I'm gonna win and I'm gonna do what you couldn't do, and that's beat MJF. And Adam's like, "Oh, Roddy, you really shouldn't do that with your neck." And then Roddy's like, "Finally, Adam Cole cares about me." This is some great stuff that Roddy's done. I don't know the last time I've been this entertained by Roderick Strong, just as an
Yeah.
individual. And you seem like you're enjoying it too, because I was hearing you kind of concur with me when I mentioned it earlier. So are you enjoying this Roddy character?
Oh yeah. I'm really enjoying this, Roderick. I also am really hoping that he wins this tournament. The tournament that he talked about entering, I genuinely want him to win the fucking thing. I'm rooting for him.
I'm rooting for him too, man. I think him versus MJF could be interesting because, like, what does the Kingdom do? What does Adam do? And again, I
What does
think in this
Adam
instance,
do is the real question, right? Because I feel like Adam, I don't know, he might even screw Roddy over, honestly.
I think he will, dude. Because here's the thing: if you're Roddy, you've already got Taven and Ben helping you. You've got the Kingdom helping you. So, like, who's helping MJF? Well, the guy that he's presumably still gonna be ROH Tag Team Champions with in Adam Cole. So yeah, I could totally see Adam Cole helping MJF to retain, and then maybe the turn comes later, or maybe it doesn't come at all because Tony Khan will be like, maybe the real turn was the friends we made along the way. Fuck you. But yeah, that happened. Already talked about Moxley becoming number one contender for the international title. So nothing more to really say there. Orange Cassidy retaining against Penta, which I mean, maybe we could talk a bit more about this match because this
Oh
match got a lot
god,
of buzz.
for all the wrong
I,
reasons.
for all the wrong reasons, because I know you even talked about this in the Discord a little bit, and it's a shame because I saw other gifs from the match and they did good stuff. Like there was one really good spot where Cassidy did like a suicida, but Penta caught him in a military press position and just
Dude,
kind of
that was an
slammed him.
amazing moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they did genuinely good stuff. You just had to exchange Canadian destroyers. And I'm like, why? But and again though, fucking roll up does it because Penta hits a big move. It's a kick out, Penta sells shock for 2 seconds, crucifix counter by Cassidy, and it's 3 count. So I guess my question for you, we already know about the match, we already know about the discourse with the match. Is the Canadian destroyer dead? Is it not dead? Blah blah blah. I already kind of gave my thoughts in a Discord call with the group on Friday, so last night. Um, just saying you can rehabilitate a move anytime. You just got to book it to be believable again.
Yep.
And I don't think AEW will ever do that. So whatever. So the more pertinent question, because we already know that the Canadian Destroyer discussion is a non-starter. How did you feel about Orange Cassidy's promo? Because this is a rare instance of him really talking
Dude,
extensively.
I admit I didn't actually catch the promo much. I feel like what I caught, it seemed like he was really ragging on Moxley and calling him out, but I legitimately don't know anything that he said.
Yeah, just essentially saying that like this championship means everything to me. I'll do anything to keep it. But then he also said this thing at the end where he said, "Because I'm Orange Cassidy and I'm not a catchphrase." And I'm like, I don't know where that came from. Maybe he just feels like a lot of people just pigeonhole him as a comedy wrestler, which I mean, have you seen your offense? Have you seen like what drew people to you in the first place? But, for a serious promo, I don't think it was bad. I just have to wonder if Moxley's going to beat him for the title
tomorrow.
and, be the next international champion, and how, I'll feel about that. I guess it keeps the championships lineage strong because Moxley's one of the protected guys there. But I will say, if Moxley wins, I'm just going to kind of roll my eyes and be like, you're never just going to let this guy take time off, are you? In fact, if anything, I feel bad for the Moxleys and the Danielsons of the world when he gets healthy and he comes back. Because now with Punk gone, it's like, well, a genuine gate that we had at least for pay-per-views. Maybe not even so much anymore because, like you said, Collision's ratings were in the toilet. But with Punk gone, that is a bit of star power gone. So now I'm gonna have to lean even harder on you guys. And it's like, God damn it, man. Like, I don't know. Part of me kind of even wants
I
Cassidy to
saw a
retain.
report, by the way, that the Elite were going to be on Collision tonight.
Oh my, rubbing it in, baby, rubbing it in.
So good.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. Low key, even hoping that Orange might retain, so that you kind of just really give him a star making moment there, so you don't have to lean on Danielson and Moxley all the goddamn time. But we'll have to see how that goes. Um, let's see. Oh, Curtis said the fact that Orange Cassidy is main eventing an AEW pay-per tomorrow, Moxley has to fucking win because if Cassidy wins, that damages Moxley and Blackpool Combat Club's aura. I feel like that was
Moxley
already
and
damaged.
Blackpool Combat Club haven't had an aura in months. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
that's kind of my feeling too, Curtis. I mean, look, agree to disagree. If you still feel like they have an aura, I haven't felt that way in a while.
I feel
Um,
like they haven't had an aura since they intentionally ran away from Hangman Page because he showed up with a chair.
yeah.
Like, oh
So,
no, not a chair! Actually, it wasn't even. It might not even been Hangman. It might have been like Ricky Starks. I don't even remember. But someone showed up with a chair, and there were all three of them in the ring. Might have even been all four of them. I don't even remember. And they ran away. Like they were like, "Oh no, we can't handle this. Oh jeez."
no, not a seating thing. But yeah,
It's one guy with
I
a metal object. We can never possibly overcome these odds.
no. But yeah, it's a lot. Things are happening.
Yeah, Moxley.
Um,
I didn't Cassidy literally pin Moxley in Stadium Stampede.
um, Cassidy pinned somebody. I don't know if it was Moxley though. I didn't think it was
I
Moxley.
think it.
What?
You know what? Let me see if I can find an answer to this little query. AEW results: London Cassidy. Oh, it was Claudio. It was Claudio.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, hey, maybe Cassidy drops the international title here and then he goes after the ROH world title because
Yep. That's exactly what I'm expecting. He honestly though, if he does, God, this is literally a match between two dudes that both need a fucking vacation. If Moxley loses this match, he should go on vacation. If Cassidy drops the title here, he should go on a vacation. And then when he gets back from his vacation, he should go after the ROH world title.
I agree. Yeah, that all makes sense to me. Um, I know obviously there was more from Dynamite. We talked about the championship ceremony with we didn't talk about the ceremony, but we kind of gestured at it with the Acclaimed. The titles scissor now, and they got pink bad. To be honest, I don't think they look that bad. And as
Dude,
far as
I
gimmick
love
titles,
them. I think they're great.
yeah, yeah. As far as
Like
gimmick titles
I
go,
wish the
yeah,
House of Black were still champions. Don't get me wrong, but like as far as making the best out of a bad situation, if Billy Gunn has to have a title at all, if he has to have 1/3 of the trio's titles, they are really, really well designed for that trio. It's great.
yeah. So I guess I'm curious how their reign will go. Hopefully it's not too long. And again, I'm trying to look at the glass half full, really hoping Malachi just gets a singles push after this. That guy is way too good to just be doing tag stuff for the remainder of his career.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else happened. I already talked about Jericho Sammy, so we don't need to do that. God, I'm actually grateful I did my homework because that means less for you to do and we can get through stuff a bit faster.
Hooray.
What else? What else? Oh, Tony. Did you see Tony Storm's promo with Renee Paquette backstage?
Yeah, where she said that it's all going tits up. Yeah.
Yeah, and she can't even trust her shoes, and she threw her shoes at Renee. So I don't want to care about Tony for the reasons I already mentioned with the Soraya stuff because they just seem like awful people. But trying to put that aside and being a professional and talking about the kayfabe stuff before us could be an interesting gimmick just to see Tony kind of snap and lose her
Tony
damn mind.
unraveling, yeah.
Yeah, Tony tilting, Tony
Uh,
tilting time.
Full tilt
Um,
Tony.
yes. Um, can you think of anything else that happened on Dynamite? Because if you say something, I'll probably remember because I really do think I watched all the clips relative to Dynamite this week. I
Okay,
obviously, they don't upload any backstage stuff,
right. Commander versus John Moxley opened the show.
and we know Moxley won again
I
with an armbar.
was not overly impressed by that match. I'll say that.
Yeah,
We got the Jericho Sammy stuff. We already talked about that. Eddie Kingston defended the never openweight champ or the New Japan Strong openweight championship against Wheeler Yuta. That match.
that's right. I saw that. I got to give credit to Claudio for his heel work. He comes and collects Yuta without looking at Kingston even once. I thought that was a nice touch. Doesn't even acknowledge him. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
So
Then we got the Adam MJF Roddy Kingdom stuff. Mike Bennett had a really good promo in this segment. Really proud of him. Really great to see him back and doing good stuff.
yeah, for sure.
We got a 6-woman tag match that, of course, ended with Britt Baker. Actually, no, it wasn't Britt. It was Statlander. Statlander got the winning pinfall on, I believe, Marina Shafir. It was Marina
Yes.
Shafir, Emi Sakura, and Nyla Rose versus Sheeta, Statlander, and Britt. Like, gee, I wonder who's winning that. And then,
Yeah.
the main event was OC and Penta, and that was the whole show.
All right, and then with Rampage, I already talked about the tag team battle royal. Dark Order's
Bro.
facing MJF and Adam Cole at All Out tomorrow.
Who in their right minds decided that the Dark fucking Order, the Beaver Boys, should be the ones to challenge for the ROH tag titles at a massive pay-per-view like All Out? Jesus Christ.
This might be not only a hot take, but like a really douchey take. The moment Brody unfortunately passed, and may he rest in peace, is not a slight at him at all. To me, they should have just done away with Dark Order altogether if this is what it was going to become.
You know what
Because,
though?
like,
I feel like even if they had done away with the Dark Order and the Beaver Boys just stuck around, they still probably would have gotten pushed about as much as they do now.
I do agree with you there. It's just having the Dark Order name on it. I think it's more secondhand embarrassment for Brody, and he's not even here because, like, when he was around, that group felt legit and it felt menacing, and now it's just like, it seems like they're like a kid faction. I would like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like, I don't think they should be pushed this seriously. Like, you're talking your ROH tag champions or MJF and Adam Cole, who arguably are part of the hottest storyline that the company is going on right now. I don't really care for filler defenses, especially when this is going to be Adam Cole and MJF's first defense. To be quite honest, I would have just preferred that they run back them versus Aussie Open, but they might be saving that. I have no clue. So after that, Nick Wayne and Vikingo, who did they face in a tag match?
Kip
Because I know that
Sabian and Gringo Loco.
that's right, and they lost. And Kip Sabian, I mean, his team lost. Look, I am so sorry, everyone, but I can't take Nick Wayne seriously now because all I can think about when I hear about Nick Wayne is Christian just being like, "So I understand you have a father," and I have never heard a more perfect conversation starter that wasn't really a conversation in my life. Like, what do you even do? So I understand you have a father.
Doesn't everyone?
Yeah, yeah. But isn't your father dead? Like, it's fuck. But actually, in this case, he's like, and that your father is dead. Like, the way this dude enunciates and the way he says shit, I fucking adore Christian. Can we just have, you know what? If you don't want to give the show to Joe and you don't want to build it around Starks or Jay White, which I can't imagine that none of those things are on the table. But AEW, if for whatever reason you're turning your nose up at all that, and you're like, no, just give Collision to Christian. We could call it Christian's Collision. It has alliteration. You can let him talk for 2 hours. Greatest wrestling show ever. I'd watch it. I genuinely, if you were
I
like,
mean, fuck
John,
the peeps. I'd become a collider so fast.
yeah, dude, if you were like, Christian's Collision is on, John, and he's like balls deep in his promo and he's talking about everything, I'm like, ooh, I need to watch this. Because I would listen to that dude talk. It's it's amazing. It's amazing. Oh my god. Oh god, he's so good. So yeah, I can't take Nick Wayne seriously. You can
Dude,
thank
even
Christian for
even
that.
if it wasn't for Christian, I wouldn't be able to take him seriously because he still looks like a literal fucking child.
He does. He does. Oh god.
Like
Oh god.
Stardom might employ teenagers, but at the very least, they understand that the teenagers shouldn't be getting wins over adults, and it doesn't ever fucking happen.
True. They're responsible. What the hell are you doing, AEW?
For real
So
though, like legitimately, like yeah, it's Nick Wayne looks like a smaller, skinnier version of what Will Ospreay looked like back in like 2016 before he started bulking up.
yeah. Oof. Yeah, I can't. Vikingo though is
He's
cool.
Action Andretti 2.0, man,
Yeah.
but worse somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Vikingo. I'll give him credit. I don't want to dogpile on everybody in this goddamn thing. Kip Sabian, I have no opinion on. And then who did you say his partner even was? I mean, that alone tells you what I think about that person because I
Gringo
don't even know them.
Loco.
Yeah, I don't really feel
Ugh.
too familiar with them. So
I mean,
yeah, okay.
anytime you have a white guy pretending to be a luchador, I'm gonna raise an eyebrow or two.
Yeah, that's fair. And then the only other thing on Rampage that I remember watching from the clips, because again, I did my homework this week because I guess I felt healthy enough to be like, well, if I watched Impact, I can watch this. Which we'll get to Impact a bit later in the show. Um, it was Anna Jay and
Ugh.
Taya versus
Oh
Willow and
yeah,
Sky
Willow
Blue.
and Sky. Yeah, yeah. Willow and Sky won this one, and thankfully Anna Jay was the one that ate the pin. It was a
Yeah,
code blue though by Sky Blue that got the winning pinfall. So again, like for some reason, AEW just loves these two particular women, Sky Blue and Anna Jay. They're like, oh man, a cute white girl with a fat ass. We got to push them hard.
yeah, and they get the win. So that puts the kibosh on that. Um, do we even? I mean, we're gonna preview and predict Payback here, and I know normally when we preview and predict, we don't really talk about Raw and SmackDown that much for weekend review, but this is a unique circumstance. So how do you want to handle this? Do you want to just get into Payback stuff, and that'll kind of also bake in Raw and SmackDown stuff?
Yes, that sounds so perfect. You're amazing.
You're amazing.
Did we
Actually,
talk
Mark's
about
also
Hangman and
amazing.
Brian Keith, by the way?
Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't. I really didn't feel that because Hangman just wins. It was a good back and forth matchup, but yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
thought
back.
Brian Keith was cool though. I liked him. I want to see more of him. Although, from what I
I,
understand, he
I,
is a little bit on the older side. You know who else is on the older side? Gringo Loco's 38 years old, and they really just brought him in like, oh, hey, we're gonna make you a new star now.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing more of him. I felt bad for Adam Page because I saw quite a few YouTube comments that were like he needs to get back in shape or whatever. And I'm like, like I understand that presentation matters in pro wrestling, but I guess I've gotten more lax about that as I've gotten older because I'm like, look, if they can work, if they can do their spots that make me pop and they're not hurting anybody, it's whatever. It's like if he gets in better shape, cool. If this is the shape he's at now, cool. You know. So it's good to have Hangman back. I always like the guy. I still think he has a lot of upside for the company. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, let's get into Payback. And I'll tell you what, man, I need to take care of something real quick. So I'll tell you what I'd like to do. I'd like to see what match we want to talk about first, but then I want you to talk about that match first while I take care of what I need to real quick. So
Okay.
what match on the payback card would you like to talk about first?
I'm pulling up the Wikipedia page. Oh God, it's just so bad.
Yeah, I know.
How long are you gonna be?
Just like a few seconds, literally. I just got to
Oh,
scoop something up.
okay. LA
Yeah.
Knight versus The Miz then.
Okay, talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Hold on.
Yeah. You go take care of what you need to take care of, and yeah, LA
Yeah.
Knight versus The Miz. They had a promo again this week. This time they actually interacted with each other though, because I know last week we got The Miz sort of doing his LA Knight impression and doing it really well to the point that he actually got the crowd to do the yeah along with him, even though he was making fun of the guy that they were, allegedly supporting. But this, to me, felt a lot like it exposed LA Knight because he botched verbally. Like he had a verbal botch in this promo where he was trying to say something and he got like caught up and he must have like forgotten his line or something, and then he had to like correct himself, and it made him feel so superficial and so like fake almost. I guess those are the same thing. Superficial and fake are the same thing. But I legitimately just said in the Discord in live wrestling discussion after this promo, LA Knight is the next Alex Riley, and I just believe that if the Miz is out here healing it up, getting the crowd behind LA Knight, really working hard to make sure that LA Knight stays, golden, stays shiny, that kind of stuff. I don't know. It feels like when this feud is over, I don't know how long LA Knight's overness is gonna last. Honestly,
It's already lasted too long. That's how I'm gonna return into the
did
discourse.
you hear anything that I said?
I heard a little. Well, because see, here's the thing. To take care of what I needed to be away from my headphones and stuff because I couldn't just do it with the headphones still on.
Okay,
So, who had a botch? Because I heard you mention a
LA
botch that.
Knight had a verbal botch.
Okay, how bad was it?
It was no, it was. I mean, you literally couldn't miss it. Like he was talking about how much of a struggle he's had in his life, and he started talking about a paycheck, and then he had to like correct himself to like talking about how he collected the paycheck or something like that, and it was just like if you watched it, it's like, oh man, that's gonna go on Botchamania for sure.
Damn.
It's really bad. It was really bad.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, ultimately, I do just think LA Knight's winning this. I mean, Miz is in that place in his career where he's so comfortable,
Oh, for sure.
and that isn't a negative. Like he's earned
No,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, to be
um,
clear, I'm not trying to say like, oh, LA Knight botched, therefore he shouldn't win the match. Like he's gonna fucking win regardless.
oh yeah. I mean, this is his push. It's his time. And yeah, I just feel like he's gonna win. Do I like it? No, because he's pretty talentless actually, and I'm bored to tears. But it is what it is. One big reason why we're not watching Payback is that we don't have to deal with this motherfucker. But yes, LA Knight gets the win. Next matchup.
Um, Becky Trish. I didn't want to talk about this one by myself, but this is clearly the worst match on the card in my mind.
Well, I am back, so you don't have to talk about it by yourself. Yeah, this feud is going on way too long. I feel like it's actually depreciated Becky's value. I don't think it's gotten anybody over. And I don't even want to be like that insulting to the two women immediately involved, but it's like somebody should have just been very honest and been like, "Hey, we're gonna do a one-off." Like if this just would have been a one-off match, like they did with Trish when she had that mini program with Charlotte, I would have been more forgiving. But man, they've dragged this out. Didn't you say recently that this has been going on for like 4 months, seemingly? Like
You know
it's
what? That's
been
a
a
great
while.
question. Let me look up Trish Stratus on Wikipedia, and I can tell you an exact number. Maybe. Um, Here we go. Let me look up Lita real quick. Actually, apologies for that.
It's all right.
Okay, so Lita's injury. Yeah, it's actually closing in on 5 months at this point because Lita's injury was early in April. It was right after Mania.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, Trish's attack on Becky was on April 10th.
Wow.
So this feud has literally been going on for damn near 5 months at this point.
Yeah, that's wild to me. I'm gonna be honest, guys, because I feel like Becky beat Zoe in a false count anywhere match recently. It might have even been this past Raw, which again would fit in the purview of this week in the world of wrestling. I feel like Trish is gonna win here, and this isn't just because of the whole lose on TV, win at the pay per view thing. I feel like Lita might be due for a comeback because we just haven't heard anything from her, and for some reason, I feel like she's just gonna help Trish win, and like
So
I don't like it.
here's where I'm
Yeah.
gonna just cut in because I agree with you that Lita is due for a return. I just disagree with you that she's gonna help Trish. That makes no sense. She's returning to help Becky, and we're gonna get Lita and Becky versus Trish and Zoe tag matches for the next month before we get a
Huh.
final blow off tag match with a stipulation at Fastlane.
Yeah, that does sound believable, actually. Yeah, I think I'll come over to your way of thinking. I ain't gonna fight it. This feud ain't worth a spirited debate. So
This is the first time in
Becky,
a while that I'm actually confident that you jumping ship isn't going to cost us.
yeah, me either. But if it does though, I'm not
Dude,
even gonna
it's
lament it.
gonna
I'm
be
just gonna
so.
laugh so hard.
We might not even be in a call while this match happens, but I'm gonna be laughing so hard if Lita actually helps Trish.
I can hear you now. You were right, bro. And insert iconic Ashton laugh here, and then because it's like Lita did help Trish, and it's like what the fuck. But no, because Trish even admitted in the promo that started all this that she did attack Lita.
Yeah,
So you are right. I just picture WWE's writing and stuff being like, I was sitting at home and I wanted to be angry at Trish, but she made good points. Where is our gratitude and this and that? Trish is like, yeah, that's my best friend. But God, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking care. Foster said earlier this feud has done more for Zoe than Becky or Trish. And here's the thing: I don't think you're necessarily wrong, Foster. But the thing is, if it's done more for her, it's got to be by a negligible margin. Because I haven't heard Zoe really get over. I haven't heard really strong crowd reactions for her. Then again, I'm not as attentive to the product as I used to be, not by a long shot. You guys know this, so I could have very easily missed something. Um, Umbra joked in. Then Lita turns on Becky, and we get Becky Lita for 5 more months. This is just Becky's hell now. But yeah. I just don't think this feud's been good for anyone. And if it has been good for Zoe, it's been to a marginal extent to me.
yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
could
dude,
have
I
done without
guarantee
all
you,
this.
if you would go up to 100 random people who are self-proclaimed WWE fans and said, "How do you feel about Zoe Stark?" I wouldn't even be surprised if a majority of them said, "Who?"
Yeah, exactly. Oof. Um. Oh, that's right, Foster. That is a good point, Foster. Where he said Shayna said when Becky is done with Trish, she wants Becky next. That will, I think, do a lot to get Becky back on track. But
I feel like
God,
that. I feel like
goddamn,
you have to have Shayna win that feud, though. Is the thing?
you do, because to me, Shayna is the big money match that I want for Rhea. Like I
Yeah.
want Rhea to get past Raquel, and then I want Shayna to beat Becky, and then I
Although,
want
have
those
we
two.
seen Rhea Becky?
I don't think we have. Although here's the thing, dude. I've heard rumors that Becky's going to go to NXT because she hasn't won the NXT Women's Championship and feud with
And
Tiffany
take
Stratton and
out
be her next.
Tiffany. Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I guess in the meantime, to circle back to this,
How
Becky
funny
beats
would it be
Trish.
though if Becky finally gets done with Trish and she's just like, you know what? I think I need a break here. I'm gonna go back to NXT and win that title, and then it's like Shayna's just sitting there with her hands above her head, like, what the fuck? She's ducking me, bro.
Surrender Cobering at just like the fucking randomness of all this. So what's the next matchup, friend?
Next matchup. Let's see. Well, we only have title matches left, so the least relevant one, I would say, Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory would make sense.
Is there any chance that Theory gets the title back, you think, or is Ray just
I think
retaining?
there's a chance. Yeah, I wouldn't be super surprised if Theory won the title back. I think Theory winning the title back would most likely lead to Santos then being the one to dethrone him again, or not again, but like it would lead to the thing that was supposed to happen the first time happening for real this time.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Like if
I
WWE's like, oh, we want to plant the seed of potential Santos jealousy, but then have him get what he wants in the end anyway and like take it all back. That kind of thing. I could see them doing that. It's just like a way to break up Theory's reign and not have it be so repetitive and take so long.
yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
But I think it's more likely that Mysterio retains, and I think it's more likely that Santos does legitimately turn on him at some point soon.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see because I would be curious about Ray retaining and like are they just going to do the Santos heel turn? But Theory just getting it back, that would feel like they're kind of circling the drain with Theory though too because you already gave him the long reign and it didn't do anything for him. Like
Did you
I saw
see
everybody.
the promo that he and Waller cut on Friday last night?
No, I did
Oh
not.
my god, Theory is so bad compared to what, bro. I will not call myself a Grayson Waller fan. He annoys me more than anything. But you get these two motherfuckers on the mic, And it makes me like Grayson Waller because of how bland and boring and miserably awful at promos Austin Theory is.
Yeah.
Grayson Waller on a mic makes Austin Theory just completely puts him to shame. Like it's just I should rephrase that. Austin Theory on the mic makes Grayson Waller look like The Rock.
Yes. Yes. I just God, Austin Theory is just so awkward to me and so clunky on the mic. And Grayson, I never really hated him on the mic, even back in NXT. I just thought they were really wanting him to be, desperately a kind of Miz 2.0 character.
Well, and now we're going to
But
get
yeah,
the Waller effect with Cody Rhodes on this show.
yes, yes. And that's gonna be interesting because apparently John Cena might come out, and I've been hearing that they
Cena's
want to set up a
hosting
Cody
Payback,
Rhodes.
so
Yeah, that is true. And I've just been hearing that they might try and set up on the show Cody and Cena. And I'm just like, another waste of Cena. That's cool. As if Cody needs to beat John Cena to prove anything. He just got done beating Brock Lesnar clean. So yeah, there's that. I'm just gonna go with Ray retaining because I realized I never really officially gave a prediction, but we'll have to see what happens there. I just want Santos to be United States champion. However we get there, that's whatever, I guess. Next matchup.
I would say Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day.
Oh God, as if we haven't seen this 1,000 fucking
But
times.
John, it's different this time. It's a Steel City street fight.
Yes, yes, it was. Um, God, I feel like with it just being a street fight, I could see McDonough getting involved, potentially giving Judgment Day the victory. But I feel like the more narratively interesting thing is just Sammy and Kevin retaining. And then just seeing what Rhea means about changes in the Judgment Day. So this is a bit of a tougher one to call because do you go seemingly where the narrative has been going and it's like, okay, further disintegration of the group because they do fail to capture those titles and then Rhea has to take charge because she is the actual leader in my mind of Judgment Day?
It
Or
does
do they just win the
feel
tag
a
titles?
lot like everything is pointing in favor of the Judgment Day winning, and therefore they're going to lose and then implode.
Yeah.
Like
So I'm
at the
actually,
very
yeah.
least, I think this is probably where Priest gets excommunicated.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, it really depends on who eats the pin, right? Because if Priest eats the pin, then yeah, I could see him being excommunicated.
I
If
mean, if
Finn
we
ate
go
the
by
pin,
who eats the pin, I would more expect Balor to do that than Priest, but we'll see.
yeah, and I agree with you there too. Absolutely. Um, but yeah,
Uh,
I think I'm actually going to go with Sammy and Kevin
yeah,
retaining the
I
titles.
agree.
All right.
Yeah. All right. We only have two matches left. We have the women's world title and the world heavyweight championship. Which one would you rather talk about last?
We'll talk about Seth Shinsuke last because I've actually
Okay.
been enjoying
So
the
we
build
have
up.
Rhea Raquel. Do we think that Raquel is the one to unseat Rhea for the women's championship?
Let me give it a think. No.
Nice think,
Um,
pal. That was impressive.
yeah, she's going to fail,
Eh,
and that leg is going to buckle out from underneath her in more ways than one, and she's not going to be able to handle the pressure. And Rhea's going to be able to capitalize and retain, and then we're going to get a fucking banging matchup down the road between Rhea and Shayna, and then either Shayna wins, and then Kairi comes back, and then they restoke their rivalry all the way
Oh,
back to the first Wednesday.
why would
Or
you do that to yourself and me and our audience all at the same time?
because you know that this face emanates nothing but sexiness, and I'm improving the product. So you can do that, or you can just have Rhea retain, and then just have her flit around a little bit. Do fucking Kyrie when she comes back after she beats Shayna, and then just have Kyrie win there. Either way, Kyrie just wins the title in my canon. Of course she does, but no, I do think Rhea's a phenomenal champion. I wouldn't want the reign to end here. I don't think that Raquel's gonna be a Lacey Evans in the sense of, wow, she looks like she has everything. She's going to win the title 5 times, right? And then never wins it once. I do think Raquel will be a women's champion. I just feel like WWE's just having trouble figuring out when the correct time is. Now, for us, it'll never be the correct time because fuck Raquel. But in WWE's mind, it's like, oh, she's clearly this powerful baby face. I think she is somewhat over with the crowd at least, but Rhea's a really good heel right now. So yeah, I just think Rhea retains. I guess my question for you is A, who do you think is going to win? Obviously, because you don't have to agree with me. But B, if you do agree with me that Rhea retains, is this just a one-off, or is this a program that'll see another match between the two at Fastlane?
You know, it's interesting because every bone in my body expects Rhea to win, and yet it's WWE, and I have this weird nagging feeling of like, would it really surprise you if they put the title on Raquel, had her retain in some bullshit way one time, and then had Rhea get it back in her second defense?
Yeah, I could see that. That could definitely happen.
Because I do think that Rhea is the long term champion that they have planned. But that doesn't mean
Right,
that she can't have a hiccup in her reign, you know?
right.
And Raquel has the story going for her, which is that Rhea injured her and now she's back, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely, yeah. They do got a lot going on here. Um, Foster said, "I'm sorry, but whoever wins kind of doesn't matter for me. Her reign has been kind of meh." I don't even necessarily disagree with you, Foster. I really, if Rhea was on SmackDown, I think her reign would have a lot more vitality to it because I just think that roster is better overall. Like the idea that they've had Rhea face Natalia twice, maybe even three times, it's just kind of noxious to me. But yeah, Raquel at least is somewhat of a challenge for her. We'll have to see
See
how it
that? You know
goes.
what, Alex? You know I absolutely love you. You are absolutely wonderful, and I don't want you to feel like you have to apologize because you genuinely don't. You did nothing wrong. But I do disagree with that mindset of like, oh, this title reign hasn't really done it for me, therefore I don't care if the current champion keeps the title or not, because in my mind, Rhea isn't the problem here. Rhea Ripley as the champion is not the reason that Rhea Ripley's title reign has been meh. Her opponents and the way that the reign has been booked is the problem. So what you should really be saying is, I hope she holds the title for way longer so that hopefully the booking of her title reign can improve and we can get some great shit because we know how good of a talent she is.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from on that too, man, for sure.
Because, like, to me, if you're giving me the choice between Rhea Ripley, the performer, holding a title, and Raquel Gonzalez, or Raquel Rodriguez now, I think it is, the performer holding a title, I will take Rhea Ripley 11 times out of 10, not because I would expect her to be booked better. The booking is completely random in my mind, is whether it's good or not, but because if the booking is good, I know that Rhea can make the most of it, whereas Raquel can't, because Raquel is not good in the ring and she's a shitty person and she's not good on the mic. Like, there's so many things going against Raquel, whereas with Rhea, we know she can talk. We know she's great in the ring. So if the booking should happen to line up and just be good at some point, Rhea is the one that's going to make the most of it and make good television and compelling stories out of good booking.
Yeah, that's actually a very fair point. I can agree with you on that completely, man.
So that's like, okay, yeah, they gave her Natalia too many times, and I agree that that's not good booking, but we shouldn't blame Rhea for that era of her title reign being mid or bad. We shouldn't look at that as like a slight on Rhea Ripley. We should look at that as like, oh man, Rhea Ripley really got screwed over during that time. I hope that they get it right. It's like sooner than later, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I hope they can turn her reign around. Again, Gonzalez is a more credible opponent for sure. It's just I'm really looking forward to the Shayna feud. I think we need to get there to really get things on track. Um, so yeah, we're both just agreeing that Rhea retains then.
I think so.
Just
Yeah, like I said, I would like so just given randomness. I don't think it's ever fair to say that anyone has more than like a 98% chance of retaining a title or winning a match. But like that would be like if it was against a jobber, and that like 2% gap is like, what if they decide to book an upset, right?
yeah, that could always happen, man. That
But
could
then in this
always happen.
case, we've got Raquel. I would say Raquel is more of like a 10 to 15, maybe even 20% victory chance here, as opposed to the two.
Yes. Yeah, so we're just gonna have to see all that happens there. Which I guess only leaves Seth and Shinsuke, right?
Uh huh.
All right. So I just feel like Seth retains. And that's really unfortunate because I've really been liking Shinsuke's work. I really want Shinsuke to win the title here, but I really don't know how that happens. I just feel like it's going to be one of those things where they do a match where Seth really gets his back worked over majorly, and then he kind of fires back. He has the babyface comeback, and he finds a way to win. So I'm just going to be very cut and dry about it. I do think Shinsuke retains. I've enjoyed Shinsuke's promos, the video packages, the promos on Raw, just talking about everything. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good match. I just don't think we're going to get a title change. So what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I've enjoyed the way they've handled it. I think it's been really interesting. I've enjoyed the angle that they've taken with Nakamura, trying to really target and take advantage of Seth's back, which is apparently a problem area for him. I think that's really cool. Um,
Yeah,
I think they've done a good job of making Nakamura heelish, making him someone that people want to root against rather than for. I'm curious if they
right.
bring back the version of his theme song with lyrics, because that's like not singable, and then you can have the people singing Seth's theme, because otherwise it would just be the battle of two guys with singable theme songs, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Uh yeah, so that's payback. Since we're not even going to be live reacting to it, I won't give like a hype rating or whatever. But yeah, definitely a filler pay-per-view. I hope Fastlane kicks it up a little bit for me. And yeah, I've really got nothing else to say about that actually. Do you have any other thoughts on payback?
I, I don't know. I'm not sure if I even want to commit to picking Seth to win and retain the title. Honestly, I think there's a legitimate chance that Nakamura might actually win the title. I think I will. If I had to pick, I think I would still give Seth the slightly higher odds of retaining than Nakamura winning, so I will pick Seth.
Okay. All right. Um and like we said, guys, usually when we preview and predict a pay-per-view, we don't really talk about like Raw and SmackDown. So I guess that only leaves just extracurricular stuff.
NXT.
Um oh, NXT. Well, yeah, that's true. NXT. I honestly didn't watch any of NXT this week. Did you?
Uh huh.
Okay, so you did. So what did you watch?
Um, Bits and pieces. I know that we had the steel cage match between the Creed brothers and the Dyad. Did you see the GIF of the one arm power bomb?
No, I did not.
Oh, bro, I gotta see if I can find this to show you, bro. Julius Creed is the real one. He is a freak, bro.
So he's still looking really good
Are
from
you?
the way it sounds. He's yeah,
Yeah, he's a freak. And he's strong as hell. It's wild. Let me see
nice,
if I
man,
can find
nice.
the video or the GIF of the. Because, dude, here's the thing. You might think, like, oh, he did a one arm power bomb because somebody jumped up onto his arm and he slammed them down. But, like, nah. He gut wrenched this motherfucker, got him up onto his shoulder, and slammed him down with one arm while holding somebody else's leg because he had a fucking ankle lock locked in.
That dude, that's fucking insane. Wow. God damn. Yeah, I did you okay, yeah. Did you post it in the YouTube chat? Because I haven't got anything
I
from you on
haven't posted
Facebook.
anything yet. I'm trying to find it.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, I'd be very curious to see it. But
Yeah, no, I'm
you know,
trying
I
to
haven't
find it.
really yeah, I haven't really cared for the dyad and the Creed feud, but that sounds really cool actually. Foster said he's legit really excited, really, really excited for Umberto and Angel returning. I know you've been into that storyline. You've given that
Yeah.
storyline its flowers on
Yep.
NXT.
Yeah, that was
Um,
really dope. Or that story, I should say, is really dope.
Oh, Super Bowl
Here
actually
it
bringing
is.
up an interesting point, recoursing back to Seth and Shinsuke. He wonders if Priest is finally going to cash in. Do you think a cash in could happen? Especially if Priest and Finn don't win the tag titles, then Priest comes in and wins the world title for him.
See, that I
So,
love, because they could have the whole story be Nakamura beating the fuck out of Seth's back and really focusing on the back and weakening the hell out of Seth, and Seth retains by the skin of his teeth, and then here comes Priest. Yeah, that I love. I absolutely love that. That's perfect.
yeah. I honestly, seeing Super Blue mention that, um, it makes me want to change my pick, honestly, to like Seth retaining, but then adding that Priest cashes in. So yeah, that I think I'm gonna make a last minute change actually. I'm gonna say that Priest cashes in because that makes the most sense because we already committed to Kevin and Sammy retaining the tag titles. So then you've got Rhea kind of looking at him like you blew it, but then Priest makes a recovery and brings Judgment Day the championship. And then Finn's kind of left out in the cold. So yeah, I really like that. Do you want to make a amendment to yours and also agree that Priest will cash in, or what do you want to do with
Yeah, I love
yours? 'Cause
that.
I think I'm
I absolutely love
all
that.
right.
I'm gonna commit to it as
Then we're
well.
both good. Yeah, then we're both going to make amendments and we're both going to say, yeah, thanks, Superblue, for bringing that up. Because, see, that's the thing about the booking of this whole story. I have forgotten that Priest had the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's very interesting. See, that could give some life to the Judgment Day that's desperately
And here's
needed.
the thing:
But
we
let me,
aren't even really changing anything because we aren't changing any picks. We both picked Sammy and Kevin to retain. That's not changing. And we both picked Seth to retain. That's not changing. Nothing's really
yeah,
changing here. We're not changing any picks. We're just adding details to our picks.
yeah, dude, I'm just now seeing this one arm power, but that is one of the most insane things I've seen in a fucking minute.
Mm-hmm.
That might be low key a spot of the year, honestly, because I know that's an award for our year end awards. That looked so good. How in the hell? This dude's a beast.
Yeah,
Jesus
Julius Creed is
Christ.
a freak, man.
Dude,
Isn't
absolutely.
he the one that does the
Okay,
shooting star too?
he might be. I mean, after seeing that level of acumen, I wouldn't be fucking surprised. So yeah, that was really cool. Um, and who did you say won this cage match again
The
between
Creed
these two? 'Cause
brothers. The Creed brothers got their jobs back in NXT. Unfortunately, I was really hoping to see them go up to the main roster, but they're officially back on the NXT roster now.
that just seems like circling the drain to me, but maybe they can make it work. I mean, you know what though, when you see a spot like that, how can you not have them go over? Because it's like if one guy in the team can do that, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to see where they go from here. I wish I did watch NXT this week. To be honest, I totally blanked on it because everything with AEW
Oh yeah.
and All In and
AEW
everything
was the
else.
real attention stealer this week.
Yeah, yeah, no, it
uh,
absolutely was.
yeah.
Uh,
Creed brothers looked great though. They beat the Dyad. I love the Dyad, but I loved them more when they were grizzled young veterans.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but yeah, so that was cool. We did have a match in the first round of the NXT Global Heritage Invitational. It was Butch versus Charlie Dempsey. Butch actually won. I really thought Charlie Dempsey would win, but Butch picked up the dub and advances to the second round. So that was a
Yes.
thing.
Yeah,
Um,
I like Dempsey, but it seems like they're kind of cooling off on him a little bit here. So I don't know what they're gonna do.
yeah, pretty unfortunate. We got a new edition of Supernova Sessions. Noam Dar continues to be hilarious. I love this man, and unfortunately, it's looking like his next big feud is going to be with Ilya Dragunov, who I really cannot fucking stand.
I know you can't. I'm just ambivalent about Dragunov these days. So I guess we'll just have to see. But God, I really was curious what they would have done if they just would have had him lose to Trick, because Trick is also trying to figure things out for himself. But that he
Honestly,
lost
dude,
that match.
Ilya Dragunov to me is everything awful about AEW rolled into one dude.
I could see why you'd say that because it's just like a lot of high impact stuff and just kind of being OP in a way that kind of takes you out of it at times. I still am forgiven that he made Gunther straight up tap out.
Well, that's
Um,
it's that too. It's like this little tiny guy who randomly beats everyone for no reason and is like super OP, like you said, and kicks out of fucking everything, and it's bullshit. And his fucking promos are like high school drama class garbage.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I
literally
I really
everything about
yeah
AEW, everything I hate about AEW rolled into one dude. And he just so happens to not even be in AEW. He's in fucking NXT. And they
yeah
actually push him. Like, they actually give him stuff, too. He
yeah.
beat
I can't
Dijak.
even.
Fuck.
Yeah, like God. It's never gonna be Dijak, bro. That's kind of the other disappointing thing. The dude's a fucking mountain and he can fucking work, and they're just like, pass. We're good.
Ugh.
We're good. I'm just like, why? I'm actually gonna pull up the WWE YouTube channel so I can see what else happened on NXT. Because yeah, I did not pay any attention to it at all. Um, Oh, the Street Profits showed up on NXT. I loved what they did with Bobby this week because they're not on the payback
Yes,
card.
on
I will say they had another
SmackDown.
good promo.
Yes.
Yeah, they looked great.
Bro,
They looked
I know that it's like they're giving heel vibes in matches because of how aggressive they're being, but Lashley got cheered and was kind of babyface-ish on the mic on SmackDown.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm hoping. I mean, God, dude, I know that because War Games is what usually 8 people or 10 people.
One of
So
the two,
like
8 or 10, yeah.
it's it's still really small, but I kind of want like Lashley's faction versus what's left of the bloodline. If it's like Roman, Solo, and Jimmy, if he's trying to get back in, given that he helped Solo beat AJ on SmackDown, I'd love to see them in a War Games setting. But they just don't have the guys for that right now. So I don't know what they would do. But at the very least, like a really big 6-man tag, I think could be a lot of fun. And because, yeah, I'm loving these guys in the suits and how they carry themselves. So, yeah, Street Profits showed up on NXT. Apparently, talking to the NXT Tag Team Champions, we know Street Profits are former NXT Tag Team
That's
Champions.
right.
So I know how you and I feel that there's like no hard brand split. I don't know how I feel about these people just like coming and going however they please. To wherever they want to go, particularly NXT, because we saw Ray show up there. Rhea and Dom have been showing up there because Dom's obviously North American champion, so at least he has a reason to be there. But Rhea, it's more like, oh, wherever Dirty Dom goes, I go kind of thing, which I don't really know how I feel about that. You had Kiana James as the number one contender for the NXT Women's title.
Bro. Oh God. That main event was so disappointing. Gigi had so many great moments in that match and she shined so much. Only for the woman she's been feuding with and can't seem to get a fucking win over, Kiana James, to come in at the very end and steal the dub. And she even pinned Gigi in the fucking match. God damn it.
I wonder if Gigi's going to want to leave because there was that Instagram post a few months back where she said she misses Priscilla Kelly or just misses PK,
Yeah.
which, Priscilla Kelly. Um, or if she's going to stick it out. I don't know. I don't know what she's going to want to
I
do, but
really just, even if they didn't just, like, this isn't even me saying I want them to push Gigi. As much as I would love for that to happen, and I would absolutely enjoy it if they did, just pick someone better than Kiana fucking Jane. Like, literally, that was a four-way match, and they picked the worst one. It could have been anyone other than Kiana. Roxanne would have been a great choice. Gigi would have been my favorite choice. Even Blair would have been so much better of a choice than Kiana fucking James. But nah, they picked the worst one. And I'll tell you why, too. It's so that they can have somebody that can wrestle on Tiffany Stratton's level. They have the worst NXT Women's Champion of all time right now, and they have to make sure that her wrestling matches don't make her look worse than she already is. So they pick girls that are as bad as her, or maybe barely better than her, to try and put on a match that makes her look good.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing to say to that other than agreement. Like, I have not cared for Tiffany's wrestling, excuse me. I barely watch Kiana James work. So when I see that she became number one contender, I'm like, huh? I thought Roxanne was on the fast track to, being in contendership. Now I read from Foster said, I still think Roxanne is getting a shot at Rumble weekend. Well, that's still a ways to go. And like,
Yeah,
if this is how you're going to pad the reign out,
that's
God
like
help us.
almost 4 months away.
Yeah.
Actually,
And like,
actually, that's
yeah.
over 4 months away. That's closer to 5 months away than 4 months away because the Rumble's at the end of January, not the beginning.
Yes. Um, Tyler Bate apparently is doing something with Dabba-Kato, so that's pretty cool, I
Oh, see,
guess.
that I wasn't aware of. That I wasn't smart too.
Well, because apparently it was part of like after NXT when they do those like YouTube highlights kind of things.
Oh,
Um, yeah, Nathan Frazier versus Joe Coffey. Do not give a fuck about
dude,
that.
fuck Joe Coffey, piece of shit.
Yeah. I will say one of the more interesting storylines. Apparently, Thea Hale ditched class, with Chase U to hang out with JC Jane. Um,
Oh no, the bad
so
influence.
yeah, I know, right? What are you doing with her? She's not a wrestler. It has such like that kid is smoking behind the school vibes. Why are you
Yes.
hanging with them? And it's
Yes.
like, what the fuck? Um, but it is one of the more interesting stories that NXT has. Now they could just go the route of Thea listens to JC and it's whatever. And maybe she doesn't even heal that long because maybe she wakes up to her senses, or maybe she just rebukes JC and it's like, no, okay, I work things out with JCU, and then JC takes it out on her, and then they just end up feuding. I don't know. I'll have to watch that clip later because I actually am interested in that storyline. But that's all I could really see from NXT that's worth talking about. So I guess yeah, we can move on to extracurricular. You already know I did some extracurricular
Yeah,
this
you
week.
have a TNA rant, baby.
Oh my fucking god, this fucking company.
Wait just a minute. I have to ping Gala. John is about to do his Impact rant. Get in here.
Oh my god, this fucking show.
Oh no, I think
Okay.
she might be elsewhere. She's not responding to the ping. She always responds to pings.
Well, let me
She
just
is
start
here.
with
She is here. Yes, let's go.
okay. Okay, so here's the thing. I've had a really big think on this, and I realized a rant isn't really how loud you say something, it's what you say and how
Yeah.
viscerally you mean it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest in a very calm tone that doesn't ruin earphones or whatever. Let's start with the good. Knockouts division continues to be interesting. It continues to be built around Trinity, who's amazing. Love her. So happy for her. Feel like she's finally getting dealt a proper hand by Impact of all places. I have no idea how good or how bad Alicia Edwards is, but I saw the Knockouts Battle Royal. It was decent enough.
She's solid. I
Good, good.
like Alicia.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I'm not. I'm gonna give the women their due. I'll give Kenny King his due, which is where this kind of starts. Apparently, he's been the digital media champion. I like, the kind of seriousness and the credibility he brings to the title. He's even said like the only three letters that matter are DMC, and I'm like, yeah, that's good energy. That's believable. And I don't know who the guy like his I don't want to say sidekick because that's demeaning, but like I'm not frontman either because that's not the word, but his friend, I guess. Just his friend who he's got with him. I don't know his name or anything about him, but he's talking about Joe Hendry and I think it was Yuya was
Uemura.
the other one. Uemura, yeah, and like how I've beaten them individually, I've beaten them both at the same time. It's like cool, 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 cool. Then Tommy Dreamer comes out. Okay. So what I just said, it's not how loud you say something, it's what you say and how viscerally you mean it. Tommy Dreamer comes out 52 years old, and I'm going to be honest straight away. The dude looks like shit. Looks like absolute fucking dog shit. He comes out, he looks big. And I have no problem with big guys. We've seen big guys. Otis is a bigger guy. Literally Bray's like first prominent name in the company was Husky Harris, right?
One of I would say his first big like catchphrase was that he was a tank with a Ferrari engine, right?
Exactly. Rikishi, Big Show, had big guys. They can work. And they also weren't 52 when they were doing all those things. Dreamer looks like fucking shit. He looks like he's been retired for a while. He enjoys his Sundays. He enjoys like letting himself go and like aging that way. And fine if that was the case. Um, that's also true, Foster. That's also true that he is nowhere near sexy as fuck. He looks terrible, terrible. Um, so he
To be
comes out and he
fair, I
tries to.
apologize for cutting you off, John, but to be fair, Tommy Dreamer has never exactly been a specimen, even in his prime. He was always kind of, soft.
Yes, oh for sure, for sure. But again, he could at least work. And I shudder to think what a 52-year-old Tommy Dreamer match looks like in 2023, especially because he did a lot of the hardcore wrestling
Yeah.
and this and that, which we'll circle back to that because I was thinking about holding back, but I'm like, no, I want to own my truth completely about how much I fucking hate this. So he comes out and he lectures Kenny about Kenny's conduct because Kenny had a match with Johnny Swinger, who I've seen very little of. Can't comment on it. And, Dreamer's like, I checked in on him because he had the match of his life. It was the match of his life. He fought so hard, blah, blah, blah. And then Dreamer gets kicked by Kenny King. Kenny King gets a little strike on Tommy, leaves Tommy a little whatever. Then he has to, drive out, gets a text from Johnny. Johnny apologizes, whatever. And they talk about the main event of Emergence, which was Trinity Deanna 2, which unfortunately I have not seen. I would like to go back and watch the full matchup, though, because I bet those ladies killed it. And Dreamer's like, oh, we both agreed they earned that main event. I'll even agree. They earned that main event. I'm sorry I had to follow the rest of the fucking shit that I saw in terms of the highlights, at least from the, older men that are like, oh, Impact, there's a spot we'll always get on a wrestling card. Um, and what I hated about this, now Kenny King is 42. And I don't mind that because Bauer's in his 40s, AJ's in his 40s. A lot of guys that could still go and are entertaining are in their 40s. So I don't mind that Kenny King's 42 because he looks good, he's playing good, everything's good. What I don't like though is when we don't acknowledge that fact and they're trying to frame this. Because in my mind, when I was watching this, right, I even said this to you in conversation, Ashton. They framed it where it was like Tommy Dreamer was the Ric Flair to cohort would also have been a good word, Mark. They tried to make Tommy Dreamer the Ric Flair to Kenny King's Carlito in that famous work shoot backstage where Carlito's walking with Tori and Rick's like, oh, are you going to watch the rest of the show? And Carlito's like, Carlito's not in the main event, so what does Carlito care? And, he gets torn into and stuff like that because he's like, oh, you weren't watching the Emergence main event. You were at the bar surrounded by women. And my problem with guys like you, Kenny, is you always want to talk about the spots that I'm hogging up. Maybe if you worked hard and you more consistently showed up, you take my spot. And they're kind of doing that whole thing. And I'm like, no. Like, I like Kenny. But no, this isn't some young, arrogant guy that's got this chip on his shoulder. Like, oh, I'm just going to wait for the main eventers to die off. He's had a career. I would say a pretty decent one, but he's had a career. He's still having a career. Don't act like, you're just going to push this new megastar that's been undiscovered for so long. Kenny King fires back. Again, that Tommy Dreamer's been selfish and this and that. And it's a solid promo from Kenny. Kenny does fine. Dreamer, I find insufferable because again, he tries to come off of that air of like that sagacity, that sage-like quality that all veterans attain when you cross some arbitrary threshold in the wrestling business, and it's noxious to me. And then he pretty much says like he wants a match with Kenny King. Kenny King rightfully looks at this. Kenny King rightfully looks at this and he says, I was just reading Foster's comment. No, no, like, why? I'm the champion. I beat your boy, Johnny Swinger. I got my licks in on you even after the match. What could you have for me? And then Dreamer, because he's so, like, pathetic in this to me, and he doesn't even fucking look good, he mentions like how this has been the hardest year of his life. He lost his mom, which my genuine condolences on that. Loss is not easy. I know very recently myself how painful loss is. He had skin cancer. Glad you're okay. Again, genuinely terrifying. And Terry Funk passed away. And again, I'll be sympathetic on that. But he's like, I've lost practically everything. So I guess the only thing I'll wager is the only thing that has any value, my career, because I've always had the best support system in all my fans. And now here is where I'm going to be at my pettiest with this. Storylines like this to me are always going to have an air of awkwardness to them in smaller arenas, right? Because it's like you're gesturing to a trout pond. All of my fans, yeah, like there's support there, but it doesn't have that emotional effect. Like if it was 5,000 people or whatever, even being like, yeah, because you feel that. I don't feel this. I feel like I'm watching something slowly die and it's uncomfortable and I don't want to watch it. Why am I watching this? I don't know. Well, because the match is happening at Victory Road, Super Blue. So he didn't lose the title yet. I don't know if he will. He better fucking not. But yeah, Dreamer's like, you put up your digital media championship. I'll put up my career at Victory Road because apparently it's happening in a venue that means a lot to Dreamer or whatever. And they'll do it. And they talked about Impact's 1,000th episode coming up. My God, did we limp across that fucking finish line? And that's that. And I'm just sitting here, and again, I'm looking at Dreamer and I'm like, this is a fucking insult because you're really going to wrestle Kenny King looking like that. Like, I remember when Mick Foley had retired in 2001 and Mick Foley's body had taken a fucking beating. We know this from the Hell in a Cell matches, the death matches in Japan, all that stuff. But Foley cared about getting Orton over so much. Like after he lost at WrestleMania, being pinned by Orton, I might add. So he let Orton pin him twice. He's like, okay, we're doing the big backlash match. It's in Canada. It's hardcore, like street fight, whatever. Foley even says in his books he got in the best shape of his life for that match. That's how much getting Orton over meant to him, because you can honestly say that Orton didn't beat Mick Foley LARPing as Cactus Jack. He beat Cactus Jack. Is Kenny King really going to beat the Innovator of Violence, or is he just beating road agent Tommy Dreamer? Because there's a big fucking difference. If you're going to walk into Victory Road, big ass fucking gut, your bloated fucking face, looking like an arm drag would leave you fucking blown up, why the fuck do I want to watch this shit? Like, again, I'm not trying to body shame people, and I'm really sorry that I'm being this mean about it, but like, if you're going to wrestle, be sure you know how to fucking wrestle. Like, there are fit guys. Like, I consider myself, relative to my disability and everything, a pretty fit guy. Doesn't mean I know how to work. Now, maybe Tommy will thumb his nose and be like, oh, I can work a matchup, and maybe even that term is subjective. I don't know. Maybe I got my head up my ass. But I'm just looking at Dreamer's shape right now and his age, and I'm like, what could you possibly give to Kenny King? Because even your career that you're putting on the line, you've waited around so long. What the fuck does it even matter? And this is the same guy too, because we can't forget this either. Tommy very clearly has some kind of a cognitive thing going on, or maybe like early CTE or something, because this dude has talked about how he has forgotten huge chunks of time. He got put in such a bad mental state he wanted to kill Paul Heyman at WrestleMania 17, and like you're just gonna do it like another match. Like, it's so bad to me on every level, and I don't understand how this helps the Kenny King character. No, Gala, I have to correct you there, because he's not even a few years younger than Kenny King. He's a whole 10. Kenny King is 10 years younger than Tommy Dreamer. It's the other way around. Kenny King is a whole decade younger than Dreamer. He's 42. Dreamer's 52. Why? Why the fuck should anybody care about this? So I hated it. I hated it. And it's a shame, because Kenny, at the start of this, before Dreamer came out, had a good promo talking about what a great digital media champion he is. I fucking popped. I thought that was awesome. Then we get to the other thing I saw, because again, the good thing I saw was Knockouts Battle Royal. Knockouts are great. I got no complaints about the women. I can't make any substantive comment about Alicia Edwards. If you like her, that's good enough for me. I don't know how Gala feels about her, but I'm cool with it. I'm good with it. Um, then we get to a highlight I saw from Emergence, where it's Bully Ray, Moose, and Brian Myers, formerly Kurt Hawkins. They triple powerbomb PCO, who, again, I want to actually get an exact age on PCO, because he might be 52 too.
He's in his
PCO.
50s
Oh,
for sure.
By the way, Dreamer tried defending the whole age thing by saying like, oh, all of us old guys, and he put over PCO and Jericho
He's
and somebody else.
55, by the way.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
PCO's 55.
Oh my God. He takes a triple power bomb off the ramp of the stage through a table that's seemingly like above concrete, so like concrete's underneath it. 5 seconds later, he sits up and he hulks up, and Bully's freaking out, and Moose and Myers are like, what the fuck? He takes out Moose, he takes out Myers, and I'm glad I've actually had time to think about this, because I realize there's more that I hate about this. PCO gets blindsided, right? Who does he get blindsided by? Steve Macklin. Oh my fucking God. Steve Macklin and Josh Alexander, who's about as interesting as watching fucking paint dry, go at it. Alexander's repaired tricep or arm gets caught in a steel beam. Macklin kind of really like pulls it in there hard to really show like a lot of damage. Cool, whatever. I'm like, whatever. My thing with the whole PCO thing is I didn't see the rest of this match, to be fair, because again, this was a highlight clip. So anybody that actually watched this could fill me up, or could fill me in, I should say. The blindsided shot worked, and I don't understand that. I don't understand why it fucking worked. Like, if you sat up from a power bomb and a guy just blindsided you with like a forearm, why did that take you off your feet? Why actually did that take you off your feet? Because I can say this for seemingly several minutes, because the highlight package went on for I think like maybe 3 minutes 30 seconds, and this is like maybe a minute 30 in, possibly maybe even earlier. So you're all, I don't see you again for the rest of that highlight clip. Once Macklin blinds, he's done. Why wouldn't, if you've got this character being Frankenstein's monster, just like you register the hit, but then you do the slow turnaround to look at Macklin? You could sit up from a power bomb, but not being forearmed, more or less. Like, that's so. God, I hate it. I hate these fucking old fucks on the product, because again, who does this get over? Who does this benefit? Like, to be perfectly honest, because the women seem to be one of the best thing that Impact has going, you're already barely watched by anybody and your crowds are already so small. I would love for them to just go to being an all women show or to have a show that's like just dedicated to the knockouts. Um, I don't understand why we're doing this. I don't understand why Bully Ray is still active at this point in time. And like, and this dude, and I'll say this too, because like it's funny how you can agree with somebody, but like in a way you don't want to, because you just want to tell them fuck you. Because that whole Canadian Destroyer discourse, where it's like, oh, they buried the move Penta and Orange Cassidy. Bully Ray chimed in and he's like, well, rest in peace, Canadian Destroyer. And I'm like, dude, have you seen the stuff that your company's been a part of? Have you seen the stuff that you directly have been a part of? Rest in peace, triple power bomb, more like. What the fuck? I hated this. I don't know why I keep ending up here and why I keep clicking on this and thinking, oh, this is a good idea. It's not. The only good thing anybody should watch on Impact is the women. That's gonna be the positive note I have on this. Watch the women. Support Trinity. Support Deanna. Support MK Ultra, the Knockouts Tag Champs. They seem cool. I will say too, Killer Kelly got eliminated in that battle royal. Killer Kelly seemingly hella over because people were not happy about that. There were audible boos when Killer Kelly lost that fucking match.
Is MK Ultra her and Masha?
I think it is. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense because MK, Masha, Killer. Yeah. Yeah. So support them. Apparently support Alicia Edwards because she, I guess, isn't that bad. I did like how she won this battle royal because she kind of like, faked everybody out. She did the classic. People think I'm eliminated, but I'm not. So gonna pick my spot kind of thing. And so, yeah, I just, goddamn, I hate this promotion so much because there are good acts on it. I like Joe Hendry. I like the knockouts. But even if you only gave these guys, even if Bully and Dreamer and PCO were jerking the curtain every week, the idea that they're still on my TV in 2023 and that time could always go to someone else. That's always my thing, is the trade-off. When you give time, no matter how much of it, to these
Yes.
acts, you're not giving them to more knockouts or a star that you could be making that maybe more people want to see
Oh,
or
hey,
whatever.
John. What is the two-word economical term that you're referring to when you talk about the, that what you're talking about there?
The two-word term, are you referring to, sir, opportunity cost?
You're goddamn right, I am.
Impact Wrestling has incurred more opportunity costs in just a little bit that I've been like watching clips here and there than anybody. And I'm just like, why? Like, I don't care if PCO gets his comeuppance on Bully. And let me just say this too, to be fair and be mature about it. If there is somebody out there listening that is enjoying this storyline, I'm genuinely happy for you. Like, honestly, because I can't conceive it and I don't understand it. But like, you do you. Because you know what? I still enjoy Suzuki. And there may be people that are like, man, Suzuki doesn't have it anymore. I don't care for it. So different strokes for different folks all day, every day. But my God, do I hate this. I feel so bad for the women. I feel so bad for the undercard guys that like aren't putting themselves out on Front Street for this shit. It's just so bad. And Bully Ray especially, because I told you, I told you a few years ago, actually, and I stand by it now. That dude is such a fucking mark for himself. I I would like somebody, and I'm being genuine about this because maybe I'm being out of pocket. I can't think of one person that dude, as the Bully Ray character, has helped get over. And I don't know if you could argue maybe he helped Macklin get over as a heel, possibly. I don't know if that's even a good thing because I personally don't care for Steve Macklin at all, but I don't know what his fucking fan base is or if people even like, think he's a good heel. Which if that's even the case, is he even doing it right? Because shouldn't he just be hated by everybody? But anyway, yeah, it's just, I fucking hate Impact, man. This fucking shit. You've got Trinity, and again, they're like, oh, they deserve to main event emergence. Yeah, you're goddamn right they did. But if I'm Trinity and Deanna, I'm like, oh my God, that they had the old people fucking do shit, and it's dog shit. It's a dog and pony show. We got to go out and work 10 times as hard, and and fucking steal the show. God, fuck, poor Trinity, poor Deanna, poor these women. Give them their own show, Impact. I mean, my God, it'd be better than fucking platforming these old fucks. So yeah, fuck Impact Wrestling.
Dude, if
I'm gonna try and
Impact
stuff.
literally just trimmed the fat, they would be so much fun.
They would. They've got a good roster, dude. And
Yeah,
like,
like if they literally just trimmed the boring generic shitters, like get rid. Okay, so I might have taken it a step too far when I said shitters, because there are some boring generic dudes on their roster that can wrestle, that are solid in the ring. But when I think of a shitter, I just think of someone that's shitty to watch, and in my mind, Josh Alexander is that. So I don't think of him as a shitter in the ring, but I do think of him as a shitter in general because he has the personality of a wet noodle. So when I say trim the fat, literally, if you just get rid of everyone over 50, and Macklin and Sammy Callahan, and let Josh Alexander walk and go be mid with Ethan Page in AEW, let them make the mistake of paying him. God, and frankly, at least in my opinion, get rid of Matthew Raywalt on commentary and bring someone in that doesn't sound like they've got a milk bubble stuck in their throat constantly. This product, I would probably watch it every week, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's other
Yeah,
dudes that I want them to get rid of, like fucking Diener and fucking Joe Daring or whatever the hell his name is. Doring, I don't even know how to pronounce it. I don't give a fuck. Like they're and then you know, I could do without Brian Myers, but he's the least offensive of the generic white dudes that they use for no goddamn reason.
dude, it's just because here's the thing about trimming the fat too. You free up resources to pay other people or to do other things with your production if you want to focus on the production side. But no, I gotta listen to Tommy fucking Dreamer, this bloated ass fucking bitch, lecture Kenny King about this business. Which, by the way, where is fucking Chris Bay? Yeah, he probably is doing stuff. To be fair, I just didn't see it. I hate it. Like, god damn. I used to remember when legends doing stuff with younger guys, and like especially if it was the last thing they would do, would be meaningful. Hell, I could say a lot about Ric Flair, but even him versus Michaels, and Michaels sure as shit didn't need the rub. That at least meant something because there was real dignity behind it and a real story behind it, and they cared. The Dreamer is just walking out like, oh, I guess I'll put my career on the line. Looking like that. The fuck you will. You better go to the back and try this again in 6 fucking months, my guy. The fuck are you doing? I hate it so much. Oh my god. Yeah, let's move on from this. Did you watch any extracurricular stuff this week?
No.
Thank God. You know, somebody knows how to take care of themselves at least. That's great. That's great. Love that for you. Let's open up the forum for Q&A, everybody. We got a little under an hour before payback starts, so if you have any
Hooray.
questions. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right. So any questions? I'll actually put my glasses on temporarily. Actually, no, you know what? I don't think I'll need to. I can see just fine well enough. Cast your
Good for
sails.
you.
Do you consider satisfactory the direction WWE is taking with Jimmy Uso? I'm a bit
Bro,
confused
it
right
was
now.
weird as fuck. What in the blue hell are they doing with him?
Dude, I don't know, because on one hand, it seems like he's distancing himself from Roman based on the promo he had with Cena, which wasn't bad, but then Cena just cut him down
But
with
he's
being like the
still
wrong Uso
appealing
kid.
to Solo. Like, what is going on?
Maybe he wants Solo to be tribal chief. Maybe Jimmy's going to try his own coup now, which, like, why? And why not just let what? Because like it doesn't make any sense no matter how you slice it. Because if he wants Solo to be tribal chief and do his own coup, you should have just supported Jay then, because you would have
Yeah.
cut out all these extra steps and all this convolution.
Yep.
And if you're like wanting to just get back in the bloodline, Roman literally told you the night that Jay quit that he owes you one. And he's like, oh, and the first thing he mentioned was, you want back in the family. Done. So like, why not just take the card? Like, what are you doing? This is why
It's
Jay beat your ass.
yeah,
Like,
it really is. He doesn't know what he wants.
I'm looking forward to him doing it again, because we know it's happening probably at WrestleMania, because God forbid I'm fucking happy. But like, yeah, no, you know, if he's gonna do it at WrestleMania, I want him to do what Randy Orton did to Jeff Hardy that one time when they were feuding back in '09. I want the bell to ring and him just to kick you in the balls, and every other thing that happens is just unsanctioned fucking gravy. Fuck you, Jimmy. Fuck you. Um, so that's what I think is going on. Do I consider it satisfactory? No. I consider it balls. I consider it fucking ass. Jimmy Uso can eat my ass. That's what I think about it. Good promo from Cena though. The wrong Uso quit. Ooh, sick burn, lots of trauma. Uh, next question. Will Jungle Boy get fired next, and
No.
should he? I don't think so. I don't think
I
so.
mean, the should he thing is a different question, but I think it's one of those things with Jungle Boy where should he get fired because of what happened with Punk? No. Should he still have a job given the quality of his work? Also, no.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
that he like if Tony were to fire him, it would be some bullshit and be incredibly hypocritical. That being said, he shouldn't have had a job this whole time pretty much. Like this dude is ass at what he does. There's no reason for him to still be getting paid and pushed in the way he does.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And yeah, it's AEW is a fucking shit show.
Yeah,
Um
it really is. It really, really is. I don't think we have any more questions yet.
No, no. Foster said before Q&A, Baron has won me back. No, I'm not. Nice. I've actually been hearing that Baron's NXT run hasn't been too bad. In fact, a lot of people are warming up to it.
That's
And then
beautiful.
Foster also said, I didn't hate the Jimmy stuff, but it was so weird. Weird is definitely the word, Foster. It was really
Why
bizarre.
was he the one to come out and confront Cena of all people? What?
He was really feeling himself, and even I was just like very gently simmer down,
The
like
only difference
just
between you and Roman Reigns is that when you do it with a smile on your face. It's like, what? Do
Jimmy.
you know that he's back here literally working with the Children's Miracle Network? Like, or not Miracle Network, it was Make a Wish. He's literally back working with Make a Wish for fuck's sakes. Like,
Yeah.
how many Make a Wishes has Roman made?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right though? Like,
God
Jesus.
damn. I think we got more questions. How do you guys feel about the Prophets more or less keeping their personalities in this new faction? It's organic. I don't mind that they didn't have a sharp shift. In fact, I kind of prefer it this way because if there is a personality change, that kind of hints to me that it's going to be more gradual, which I think is more believable. So I'm totally cool with it, Foster. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
They are being aggressive. Be aggressive.
There you go. Wow, of course Dom's the one to come in and be like, "Hey, Jim is him. I admire his confidence." You know what? We've been getting along so well lately. I was so tempted to send you to your room. You can stay, but like, nah, no, no. Jim needs to simmer down. Maybe get another AA from Cena. Super Blue, do you think All In next year will be as I guess he meant to say as good with the numbers? I don't know, man. That's still a whole year off. It's way too early to answer that question because we don't even know the complexion of AEW, what it's going to look like close to All In when the gate opens, to sell tickets and everything. So I'm just going to give the honest answer, and that's I don't know. I mean, part of me kind of doubts it because if they keep on this trajectory, I don't see how they could do as many numbers. But
Dude,
again,
I was even
never know.
thinking, like, I have to wonder how many AEW shows are even going to be left by this time next year. Like, it might just be Dynamite at this point, honestly.
Yeah, we really don't know. All right, any other questions? Oh
Uh,
wow. Oh, Cena's gonna ref the Miz night match. Well, God, anything to get that match over, I guess. That laugh.
oh my god. I'm
You
so
you gonna be okay
glad
there,
we're
bud?
skipping this show. It was the best decision we've made for our own mental health in so long.
Thank goodness I broached the subject with you because I saw it on the schedule and I was concerned.
Yeah,
It
you're
was
a king for that one, fam.
it was like a lesion that I was uncomfortable with on the skin of our product. I'm like, laser this shit off the fucking body. Cass shows, do you think Gunther Gable should main event next Raw? 100% yes. 100% yes. I think that match has got a lot of heat to it. I think fans like Gable. Gunther's on the precipice of history, so why not do it? They did the same thing with New Day. When New Day had the chance to break the tag title record at the time, that main evented that Raw. I think they should absolutely do the same thing here. What about you, bro? Just real quick. Would you mind if it's main evented? You think it should main event?
Wait. Hang on a second. Give me. I would love that actually. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
love that. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. That would
Yeah,
be
I figured you would.
that would be
Yeah.
wonderful.
Um, let's see. Oh, actually, Super Blue asked a question before this. I don't want to miss this. He said, "How do you feel about Mello cracking like an egg on NXT? He's been worrying about how he beat Dragon and Wes." Haven't really looked too deep into that, but that is an interesting character beat. If Wes isn't like, or excuse me, if Mello isn't liking how he's winning his matches, but also he still wants to be champion. So like, how do you negotiate that tension? I always find stories like that interesting. So I will say Super Bowl. I'll have to look into it because that does sound like an interesting story. You have any thoughts on this? Because you've actually been better lately. I feel like keeping up with NXT than me. So any thoughts on
I
the World
wasn't
Fair
aware
going
of this
on?
actually, admittedly.
Okay, so you and I are kind of in the same boat. Um, Oh man, Foster not even trying to hide how over it he is. He's like, but John, we need Judgment Day and Sammy KO to main event Raw again. I do you need a hug, Foster? Because you know I'm always down to give you one. Um,
I'm sorry. You're right.
yeah. um,
That was incredible. Holy shit.
Dominique said, not that it has a snowball's chance in hell, but what would you think of CM Punk appearing for Impact's Bound for Glory in Chicago? I love that for like the next few months, if something's happening in Chicago, people are going to be like CM Punk. And let me tell you, Trinity maybe Trinity was worried about her soul for a little bit because I still don't know how Impact afforded her and that they have the title on her and everything. They sure as shit could not afford CM Punk's asking price. But to indulge you, Don, because even you acknowledge that it doesn't have a snowball's chance of no happening. What would I think of Punk appearing for Impact? With how viscerally I feel about Impact, I would laugh at him so hard. Like I would almost want to give money to Impact so I could fly out, get the best seat I could, point at him and laugh so he knew that I was doing it and that the laugh was purely for him, nobody else, because that's how bad that would be for his career. Oh my god. I mean, eating out of the fucking dumpster. Jesus Christ. I don't know. I have to imagine. Indulge this for 2 seconds. How would you feel? You're in a Discord call and everybody's going crazy. Oh my god. CM Brooks is in the impact zone. How are we feeling about that?
That would be hilarious.
We'd both laugh so hard. I think you'd want to call me just so that we could have a shared laugh. I would like that very much, actually. That'd be nice and cozy. Um, let's see. Okay, yeah. Then Foster said Trick Williams might win Friend of the Year. I did know about their segment a little bit, only that Trick Williams did encourage Mello. And I actually, the only fascinating thing about the story, which again I need to look more into, but just based on what you guys are saying, it's like Mello needs Trick more than Trick needs Mello. And that's a really fascinating thing to think about. Um, oh my God, Foster, yours was even better. Pepsi Phil is in the building. Probably because he made a U-turn and left after he got in a fight with somebody. Any other questions, guys?
Oh man, I feel so fulfilled now. Just
Dude, it's honestly,
being on the
it's
right
so
side of
good laughing at
history, you
chips.
know?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, how will CM Punk's run in AEW go down in history after the big return? Super Blue, I think that's still gonna be an object of divisiveness, honestly, because I think there are gonna still be people that liked it on the wrestling side. But Philium. God damn it. But I think there are gonna be people that look at the political side and stuff and be like, he blew it. He blew it. Like, I think there are going to be people that just look at CM Punk as kind of like the Pete Rose of wrestling, where he's just angry at the game all the damn time, and he just didn't really know how to conduct himself, and that's really sad, hilarious, but sad. So yeah, like, because even me when he first returned, I was happy for the dude. I liked his first promo. Just like I was happy for Saray and other people. And then you learn that these people are pieces of shit. And then I'm like, oh, happiness redacted. Fuck you. Um,
I said
so
happiness redacted.
yeah, like fuck you. So I don't know. I think a lot of people are gonna be ambivalent about it. I'm just kind of burnt out on it, honestly. I think how am I gonna remember CM Punk? Huh, that happened. And that's pretty much the beginning and the end of it. And yeah, I mean,
Both?
yeah. The first return, I'd be like, it was good enough. It's just a shame that you had to go and put your foot in your mouth. And then the second return, I'm like, wow, this is just some masturbatory bullshit. Good thing you put your foot in your mouth. It's funny how circles complete themselves.
Yeah,
Um,
man, isn't that the best?
let's see. Oh, actually, no, I should field you. Do you have any thoughts on how CM Punk's like AEW, like the whole stint will go down? Anything, or did I just kind of speak effectively for
Honestly,
both
I
of us?
think his AEW run is going to go down as the thing that exposed him for the piece of shit that he actually is.
Yeah,
I think he's
should have
lost a lot more fans than he's gained in this run.
definitely. I mean, again, I even saw parts of Chicago turn on him, bro.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm saying.
that's
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
All right, Dominique. What would you think of a potential Becky Lynch run in NXT as their women's champion? I mean, better than Tiffany Stratton, but the question is when you put it on somebody as established as Becky, who are you getting over? And I'm not saying that as an indictment. I'm saying literally, what's the plan? Who does she drop the title to? Who's the next, big thing here that's going to get one up on Becky? Would it be Roxanne? Would it be another heel that you're trying to build up? Whatever. There's always got to be a plan. So, um, I'd be open to it, but I just would want to know that it's serving some greater good for the NXT brand. What about you, Ashton?
Oh God, I I I kind of feel it a little bit, just in the sense of like Becky never held it, and literally at this point, anything to get it off of Tiffany and onto someone who can actually have decent matches. Becky having matches with the likes of Roxanne and potentially Gigi and potentially Blair could be a lot of fun. So, low key, I've been secretly kind of rooting for it to happen since it got mentioned to me the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Mostly, again, just because literally get the fucking title off of Tiffany. She's awful.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm just always looking to what's the next thing, but I can definitely understand where you're coming from. Um, okay, Abel asked between All Out and Payback, what match are you most interested in this weekend? I would say on the WWE side, definitely Shinsuke Seth. On the AEW side, I think I'll say Kenny versus Takeshita. So, what about you, Ashton?
Kenny versus Takeshita is definitely an interesting one. Um, I think, God, between All Out, let me pull up the All Out card because I actually don't know what all is advertised for that. Honestly, Hobbs Miro alone is like, damn. That might even be it. Honestly, it might be Hobbs Miro.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm actually gonna say Hobbs Miro. That's probably the one that I'm looking. I mean, big meaty men slapping meat is always gonna get me. If Gunther Gable was on Payback, it would be that, but it's not. And the rest of the matches on both cards are mid as fuck. Low key though, I'll even say this: Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho is up there for me too.
Yeah, that should be good, to be fair. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that match up.
Yeah.
'Cause yeah,
So
that
yeah,
should
those
slap.
those two, and yeah, like you said, Kenny Takeshita. Those are the big three for me as far as like the three matches of this weekend that I'm looking most forward to for sure.
Yeah. Nice.
You're
Um,
nice. Your face is nice.
God damn. Damn. All right.
How's it feel?
Um, it feels pretty good. Definitely feels pretty good. Foster said thoughts on the potential AJ Roman feud. I'd be down for it. I liked when AJ and Roman their two matches. When AJ first won that fatal four way, I think like back in like what 20 fucking 16. And he got to face Roman, who was still like the big dog. But I think their matches would be even better now that like AJ's at this stage of his career and Roman's just the tribal chief. I am all for AJ feuding with Roman for that title. So yeah, Foster, I'm excited about it. I don't like that Solo beat AJ though, because it makes me wonder like is AJ just gonna keep coming back for more or what? Because you already lost to like the heavy of the group, the muscle. But we'll see what they do. What about you, Ashton? You think AJ and Roman can make some magic together still? They do a
I
feud.
mean, it's could they have a good match together? Absolutely, positively, yes. But it's like you just said. If AJ can't even beat Solo, how's anyone gonna buy him beating Roman?
Yeah, the the girthiness of that title reign, man. It's like who the hell's gonna step up to it? Um, Javaris, why is the butt dumpling leading the Red Stars blocking the 5 star? Does Rossi hate us? No, Foster, I'm telling you, she's the heater. She's the heat magnet that's going to get the babyface and the Blue Stars block Mega over when they beat Natsuko in the finals. It's a classic wrestling tactic, and I'm hoping that's still Utami. I'm still heartbroken that she lost to Micah, but at least Kirby's happy, and you know what? That matters. Damn it. So I'm gonna be okay with it. Um, any other questions? Well, yeah, Castiel bringing up he lost Solo because of Jimmy, but it's still the idea that, like, you know, you did lose to the heavy, even if it was by cheaty means. So, like, if I'm Roman, I'm kind of laughing at you and being like, you couldn't even beat my man Solo here.
Yeah,
What makes you think you have any business in the ring with me?
exactly. Exactly.
Um, so really, why don't the Good Brothers want nothing to do with the bloodline and aid AJ and Mia? I don't know, man. You ask WWE about that. That's just poor writing to me. I don't know. Eh,
Bingo.
any other questions, people? I feel like we're getting ready to close the gate here because I can feel like these questions are losing steam. So, going once, going twice, and closing the gate on 3 times. That's it. All right. Hi. I heard you that whole time, and I had to keep it together to do the count. So I'm glad that we both did our part, I
I'm glad
guess.
that I popped
Uh,
you.
yeah, indeed. High spots, low shot. I because I already ranted about Impact, and I'm feeling especially toxic today to pieces of shit. My low shot simple, CM Punk, and I think you should share it with me, and you
Yeah,
should
we're
share a low
doing it
shot.
together, baby.
Fuck yeah. So you lost your fucking job because you felt the need to choke out a fucking child or a man that acted like a child because he couldn't get his broken glass. This whole company fucking sucks. I root for nothing but your eternal failure. And I'm sorry for the wrestlers that I do like on there, but you are wrestling on the Titanic, my friends. Uh, Foster, am I an asshole for making Jack Perry eyes? But goddamn. Um,
Oh my god.
so since
Please,
we're
please do not let this whole story turn Jack Perry into a hero as like the guy who got CM Punk fired. No, that is not what happened here.
But since we're both sharing that low shot, my friend, who's your high spot?
Oh god.
Rough week.
No, you know what? I'm sticking to the theme. My high spot. Oh fuck, I can't do that though. Fuck. No, it was gonna be the elite, but they all lost their matches at All In, so I can't. I really can't, in all good conscience, because Kenny got pinned and the Young Bucks failed to beat FTR, so I just can't do it. I just can't. So my actual high spot. Let's see. Oh God, this is rough. It has been a bad week, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Other than the recent news that just came out today, lightening the mood at least.
Yeah.
uh, can you go first?
Sure, I can go first. Let's see here. High spot. I'm gonna go with, as much as I hate it, I'll stick with AEW for high spot as well. Actually, no. You know what? I'll give the high spot to something that at least put a smile on my face. I'll give the high spot to fucking Alicia Edwards. She got a
Nice.
Knockouts championship match, and the Knockouts are the best thing on that accursed fucking show. So,
Yes.
Alicia Edwards, for probably the first and last time, my high spot. So,
I
who's your high
appreciate
spot?
that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Fuck. Uh, Mom, you're not helping. My mom's high spot is John Cena, for all of those of you that were wondering, for coming back and being entertaining. But I'm not gonna buy into that bullshit. My high spot, God, it's actually low key kind of tempting to say the Miz, but I won't because he didn't actually have any matches this week.
Yeah.
Um, God, who had a good week this week? Um, Fuck. This is a really bad week. I'm really sorry for taking. I always do this, don't I? I always come at this unprepared and him and
No, bro,
haw.
you're fine. You're fine, man.
You know what? I fucking hate it, but the obvious choice now that I'm looking at it is Orange Cassidy because he got the winning pinfall in Stadium Stampede and he successfully retained his championship at on Dynamite against Penta,
Right.
and he's main eventing All Out tomorrow.
All right. Yeah, I like that, man. I think that's a good pick. I think it's the best pick in a bad situation.
Yeah,
So, with that said, guys, this has been Week in Review. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to leave a like as you file out, subscribe, click the bell icon notifications so you don't miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. And we will see you Monday at 5 for TwitWoW Request Live, courtesy of Javaris, the TwitWoW pimp. as we're doing 3 Kenta Kobashi matches. Should be a great fucking time. Be sure to join us for that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. For those of you watching Payback, we sincerely hope you enjoy it. We'll probably be in the Discord checking in on results intermittently. And until we meet again, tune in and peace out.